San Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Monday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It's good to be with all of you today after what was a great and absolute beautiful weekend here in San Diego. I mean, what a beautiful weekend over Southern California. I had a great time over the weekend. USD baseball is on the road. USD basketball is at the West Coast Conference Tournament. I actually had a weekend off for the first time, and I don't even know how long. It's been months. I don't think I've had a weekend off since I started doing the show with Frank, to be honest with you. It was glorious. What a glorious weekend it was to have a weekend off. I spent Friday. I went to the comedy show. I went and saw Josh Nelson perform at the Comedy Store. Had a great time at the Comedy Store. That was a great experience. Had a fun Friday night, date night, if you will. And then Saturday, hung out with the boys. Drove up to Newport. Went to Malarkey's. Had lunch at Malarkey's and cruised over. I got Anteater baseball in. UC Irvine baseball against CSUN. Dramatic victory for the Anteaters. And then I watched UC Irvine take on UC Davis in basketball. What a shift. What a shift I put in over the weekend. It was great. And then yesterday, went to church with the fam, and then we went up and celebrated my dad's birthday along with my uncle's birthday. And I guess they throw my birthday in there, but my birthday's not for a little bit. So I don't, whatever. That's the celebration with the Super Nuts this weekend with the Casa de Pico. A great time. So I had a phenomenal weekend. And I know that as much of a weekend that I had, and I had a weekend, I put in some good shifts this weekend. My weekend is not anywhere close to the weekend that Frank Marchese had out in Phoenix. I mean, we talk about a guy out there having a great time with motorized vehicles. You look at a guy like Frank Marchese today, and brother, does he look like he just came back from Sin City? But no, it was a bunch of races. You got to tell us about the weekend, Frank. You got to tell us what happened.
Well, first of all, waking up at 2:30 in the morning, not really advisable unless you're going somewhere you're really excited to go to. Spent, I want to say probably like 14, 15 hours at the track on Saturday. Got there about an hour before cup practice and qualifying started. I did all of my my walking around and just kind of letting my feet guide me on Saturday during cup qualifying. It is amazing. For when NASCAR comes here, if you get an infield pass or if you get a garage pass, it is insane the amount of access that you get. Walking through the garages, at least for me, being able to get basically up next to and touch these cars, not just the Cup cars, but the Xfinity cars, the O'Reilly Auto Parts cars, and the Indy cars too. The
final will be in the mail, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. The Indy cars look like spaceships. They really, really do. They are small. They are incredibly technical. Just again, some of the pictures that I posted on Saturday, I am like a foot in the garage taking these pictures, which is just insane.
You got to stop admitting that you are just super. They're not gonna give you a credential for San Diego, man. He's texting me the whole time. He's like, I can't believe the access they give us.
No, it is. It's amazing.
I'm sure it is. Stop telling people. They're going to be like, this guy's weird. This guy's loving this way too much. Stop, sir. Stop sniffing the tailpipes. Get away from the car.
That was the first video I sent, the very first video of me walking through the garage on Saturday. I sent that to Braden. I said, the amount of tailpipes that are here to be sniffed
Oh, God.
is unreal.
I'm surprised you didn't come back with pink eye in both your eyes.
But it was unbelievable. On Saturday, I got to meet 2000 NASCAR champion and NASCAR Hall of Famer Bobby Labonte, as well as 1999 champion Dale Jarrett. Grew up watching those two get their rear ends kicked by Jeff Gordon on a weekly basis, so I was very happy about that. And then I also got to take another picture with Mike Joy to close out the weekend. I took a picture with him, and I'll probably post these on my socials a little bit later. I took a picture with him at the Coronado Speed Festival 11 years ago. It was a blurry picture because I didn't realize how much sunscreen I had on my lens. But it was really weird to like kind of have that full circle moment 11 years later with Mike Joy. It was so much fun. It made the 1.5 star Travelers Inn that I stayed in worth it.
I need to hear more about that, Frank. You're going to tell the story a little bit later on in the show. We're going to break down what happened with the racing this weekend. Frank had a great time out there in Phoenix. We're going to keep you updated. Tyler Fields mentioned in the chat. Yes, the NFL today is bonkers. We're going to keep you updated on everything going on in the NFL, keep you updated on the WBC. The Dominican Republic is now up 6-0 on Israel. Fernando Tatis Jr. hit a grand slam in today's game. Again, we'll keep you updated on everything going on in the World Baseball Classic. So we got lots to get to. We'll talk about Aztec basketball. They get the 2 seed in the Mountain West tournament. So the interesting thing from San Diego State over the weekend was if New Mexico won, they got a share of the title. They'd be the 3 seed. If New Mexico lost to Utah State, they definitely get the 2 seed, but no share of the title for the regular season. So that's where we're at. New Mexico didn't do well against Utah State. They lost. And now for San Diego State, they got to be able to go on a run here in Vegas that's going to start near the end of the week. But I'd almost rather have the 2 seed than the 3 seed anyway at this point in time. But who knows? What's going on with the Aztecs in terms of what they prefer. It didn't really matter I guess timing wise with the tournament. So I guess you could be the 3 seed with the banner. So not too much to report with San Diego State. They won on Friday night, which is good. Sent the seniors outright. We got news from USD potentially hiring a new basketball coach and a large dollar figure for what they might be spending on a roster next year. Did you see that article by Mark Ziegler?
I did not. No.
$2 to $4 million on a roster.
Ooh.
Wow, that might change some things out here in San Diego. We'll talk about that later on. But this is where I really wanted to start the show. After getting everything out from the weekend, after everything that we had to quickly talk about, let me start the show today with something that I think is going to define the 2026 season for the Padres. And it's not a new superstar, it's not a blockbuster trade, and it's not a prospect coming up from the farm system. It's the coaching staff. And I know that sounds boring on the surface. Coaching staffs don't sell jerseys, they don't hit 40 home runs, they don't strike out 250 hitters, but I truly believe the biggest difference maker for the Padres this year could be the young, modern coaching staff built around manager Craig Stammen. I think, I was skeptical at first about Craig Stammen, but you got to give him a chance. And on top of that, you got to see what staff he puts together. And right now, the staff that he's put together is getting great reviews from the Padres players. So much so that Kevin Acee wrote an article about it. What's happening in Peoria right now during spring training is something that looks subtle on the outside, but has the potential to change the way this team plays. And if it works the way I think it might, this coaching staff could unlock another level for a team that already won 90-plus games last season. Let's talk about the vibe first. Everybody likes talking about the vibe. That's the new phrase everybody likes talking about, the vibe. What's the vibe like? Well, every year, you hear players say the same generic stuff about spring training. Guys are working hard. We like the direction we're going. Everyone's bought in. But when you listen to the Padres players this spring, they're talking about something very specific. They're talking about how the work is happening. Instead of a massive team-wide drills every single day. The Padres are doing more individualized work, smaller groups, earlier sessions, more time in cages, more time in the field with coaches. Guys like Fernando Tatis Jr. and Jake Cronenworth said they love it because the philosophy is simple. If every individual player gets better during spring training, the team automatically gets better. Sounds obvious, but in baseball development, that level of individualized attention is huge. And that's where the youth of this coaching staff starts to matter. Look around this Padres staff. I want to start with the hitting coach. The hitting coach is Steven Souza Jr., who was literally playing in the big leagues just a few years ago. Then you got guys like Kevin Plawecki, Ryan Goins, and Nick Punto. These are guys who are facing the exact same game these hitters are facing right now. They understand what 98 miles an hour actually looks like because that's the biggest change in baseball. 10 or 15 years ago, seeing 97 or 98 was rare. Now, everybody throws that. Starters throw it, relievers throw it, setup men throw it, closers throw it. And it's not just velocity, it's pitch shapes, analytics, scouting reports, sequencing. Modern hitters are basically preparing for 3 different pitchers throwing 99 with wipeout sliders in one game. And the Padres now have a hitting coach in Steven Souza Jr., who actually lived that experience. He's not explaining it from theory. He faced it. He dealt with it. He made adjustments to survive it. And from what we've already are hearing in camp, his message to hitters has been about being scrappy in the box, competing every pitch, shortening up when needed, grinding out at bats. And if you watch Padres spring training at bats so far, you're starting to see that. You're starting to see more competitive at bats. You're starting to see more 2-strike approaches, more grinding through plate appearances. That's the kind of offensive identity that can change games over the course of a long season. Let's talk about the pitching side. Because while the offensive coaches are young and relatable, the pitching brain trust is something different entirely. It's a collection of some of the smartest pitching minds in baseball. You got Ruben Niebla, who has built a reputation across the league as one of the best pitching developers in the sport. You got Ben Fritz, another analytical pitching mind who understands modern pitching mechanics and data. And now you've got the perspective of former big league pitcher leading the entire group in Craig Stammen, who spent over a decade in the majors. This is a pitching infrastructure that combines experience, analytics, and recent playing knowledge. And that matters when you're managing a pitching staff that has elite talent, but also massive expectations. Because if the Padres are going to reach their ceiling this season, their pitching staff has to stay dominant. But the thing that I find the most fascinating about this entire coaching staff, it's the relatability. Players keep using that word, relatable. And in today's game, that matters more than ever. Because the modern player isn't just looking for instruction, they're looking for connection. They want coaches who understand the grind, who understand the mental battle, who understand how hard this game actually is in the modern era. When Nick Castellanos, who, by the way, has talked about in the past about not trust, or the reports have been that he hadn't trust coaches that didn't play in the league and all sorts of disclaimers about Nick Castellanos and coaching staffs. But when Nick Castellanos talked about the Padres coaching staff, he said something really interesting. These guys aren't that far removed from the cleats. They've been in the fight. They understand the daily battle. And that kind of trust between players and coaches can completely change the culture of a clubhouse. And here's why this could become such a big deal for the Padres. It's already a really good team. I think they are going to be a good team. I know Fangraphs disagrees. I know a lot of experts might disagree. But I think on paper, this team's a really good team. The Padres are not just trying to build something from scratch. They already won 90-plus games last year. They already have elite talent. They already have a roster capable of winning a division and making a deep playoff run. So the question isn't, are the Padres good? The question is, how do they unlock that next level of making a playoff run? Because in baseball, sometimes the difference between a good team and a championship team isn't talent, but it's the details. Better preparation, better communication, better adjustments. And that's exactly what this coaching staff is designed to provide. So when I look at this Padres team heading into 2026, I see something really interesting. I see a roster that already proved it can win. But now it's paired with a coaching staff that understands modern baseball at the highest level. Young minds, recent playing experience, pitching experts, communication that resonates with players, and a spring training structure that's focused on individual improvement that leads to team success. That combination could be dangerous because if this coaching staff really clicks the way it appears to be clicking right now, the Padres might not just be a good team again this year. They might become a better version of the team that already won 90 games. And if that happens, don't be surprised if the biggest difference maker in the Padres 2026 season isn't a new superstar, but it's the guys in the dugout. And Frank, we looked at this article and we talked about it a little bit, but the communication from players about Steven Souza Jr., about the coaching staff built around them, about their approach at the plate, a lot of them really like the new modern take on what a lot of these guys have been brought in to do. And right now, I love the way that Steven Souza Jr. has been leading this offense so far. And I know it's just spring training, but the at-bats have been really impressive.
Yeah, that was the main takeaway that I took, is that it felt like a more archaic approach that the coaching staff had in years past. And now you're getting more in tune with the analytics that you see and that you get from all of these at bats. And I think you're right. The younger coaching staff does have a lot to do with it. And guys that not only played recently, but because they played recently, they understand all of this new stuff, these new analytics. You're not trying to teach an old dog new tricks, quote unquote. So it does make sense that these guys would be able to connect to the players a little bit more, not because they just played recently, but because they're not trying to relay information that they may not fully understand. These guys are young enough and played recently enough that, yeah, they do get it. And they worked off of these same numbers. And maybe like Steven Souza Jr. might be relaying the information in a different way, or is showing the guys, hey, this is also a different way to interpret this stuff. And you might see a couple players get unlocked this year.
I can't wait to see what this team does in the regular season, because this weekend, Frank, the bats were out. I mean, Saturday didn't really go their way a little bit against Cleveland, but Herman Marquez pitched pretty well on Friday, and the bats were live yesterday, and they've been live during this process. And I heard Tony say it on the radio during one of the broadcasts about like these at-bats they're putting together have been phenomenal. When we return, we're going to talk about some of those at-bats over the weekend. We're going to talk about what the offense has been doing, recap what happened in spring training over the weekend. We're also going to keep you updated on the NFL free agency, keep you updated throughout the show. A lot of big moves happening in the NFL. WBC is in action as well. We got a lot to get to on today's show. Braden Surprenant Show just starting on a Monday. San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We are off and running here on a Monday, and Fernando Tatis Jr. is back up after hitting a grand slam earlier in the contest against Israel. Dominican Republic trying to go 3-0, right, on the bracket, if I'm not mistaken, in pool play. We will keep you updated on what happens in this particular game, but the Dominicans up 6-1. They got that big lead with Fernando. Israel just got a run in the bottom half of the fourth, and Fernando strikes out. So that will do it for Fernando in the top half of the fifth. But that grand slam was great. They're showing a replay of it. Guy hung it, man. Guy hung it. Good to see Fernando back. He hit that 400 feet, 104.9 off the bat. So while Fernando and Manny are doing well at the WBC, as well as the other Padres that are out there competing at a high level right now, the guys back home in Peoria, as part of spring training, are putting together some pretty good outings. And you could look at yesterday, but you could look over the weekend in general. There was a lot of good performances in Padres spring training. And you look at some of these guys that are battling for spots and some other guys that are going to be on this team. I really like the approaches with some of these guys. And a lot of the guys on this team that are on the offensive side, as we start on the offensive side, Frank, they're putting together good springs. Like, let's just talk about what happened over the weekend. Jackson Merrill, 2 for 3 with the double against the Reds, 333 average and 1135 OPS. He may be one of the key offensive players of the Padres in 2026. I think he's expected to be, but he's having a great spring. Jake Cronenworth is having a great spring. He started the spring 1 for 8. Since then, he's 7 for 11 with 2 walks. He's hitting 364, and he played some shortstop over the weekend. Non-roster players are making strong cases for this team. Jose Miranda is hitting 370. Ty France is hitting 381 and putting together good at-bats. Miguel Andujar, who's going to be on the roster, he's hitting 381 with a 519 and 714 slug. I mean, these are guys battling for, if you're Andujar, playing time, and if you're Ty France and Jose Miranda, you're battling for a spot on the team. You got young players and prospects showing a lot of potential. Romeo Sanabria, 2 homers and 2 doubles this spring. Ethan Salas has been doing a really good job as well, building that future depth. And the pitching battle is still wide open because Herman Marquez and Marco Gonzalez looked really good on Friday night. Marco Gonzalez had 5 punch-outs on Friday. I mean, this is a team that the competition is starting to really drive high-level performances in spring training. And we talked about it. We gave the disclaimer. You can't just view the spring training numbers, but I like the process that's getting these guys to these results.
Yeah, they're looking really, really good. And it's only going to get better when the players that are away at the World Baseball Classic come back, because they're playing high level. They're playing mid-season, quote-unquote, baseball right now. So I'd be interested to see how much better this team looks and how much better these at-bats look when the WBC guys come back as well.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see this. I'm ready for spring training baseball. I mean, for spring training baseball to be over. But Merrill's been great. Jake Cronenworth has been awesome. I still think, you bat him 9th, it'd be great. I don't know about him being in the leadoff spot yet, but he's looking really good in spring training. And he's also, Frank, remember his contract 2 years ago? Nobody liked it.
Yeah.
He's already, in last year, he played up to his contract. And obviously it's just spring training, but when you put together this kind of start to the season, and if he could continue this into the season, that's another contract that's starting to age a lot finer than what we initially thought around the time he signed the contract.
Yeah, like most of these contracts are. Most of the contracts that you see now, or that you see made a couple of years ago, are going to age quite well, seeing how everyone is getting paid a ridiculous, obscene amount of money. But yeah, if you sign a big money deal, it's going to be next to impossible anyway to be able to live up to it. But do your best.
I agree with Tony. Jake probably wants spring to end right now.
Yeah,
if I'm hot, and if I'm a player and I'm hot right now, I'm Randy Vasquez. I'm shoving on the mound. I'm hitting 97.
Yeah, done.
I'm Jake Cronenworth. I'm Jackson Merrill. I'm any of those guys that are already on the team, and I'm having this kind of a start to spring. I'm like, let's go. Where's the Tigers at? Where's Tarek Skubal? I saw him give up a bomb. First pitch of the first at bat of the game on Saturday. I'm ready to get after it. I did see the report. Like Tarek Skubel's now all of a sudden thinking about making another start.
Yeah, he wants to go again.
You do know if he makes another start, apparently the Tigers have said, or people have said, that he wouldn't be ready for opening day.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh,
What a shame!
Oh boy!
He would probably just pitch Friday, but you know what? I could skip. What a shame!
Darn, man!
Darn! You know what? We're just missing out. You're telling me he can help out my country's team, Team USA, and the Padres don't have to face him on opening day?
My God, what an unfortunate time and world we live in.
We got to make that. We got to make that happen now. Another intriguing storyline involves Nick Castellanos. We're going to get to that in a second because Craig Stammen talked about Nick with the media that we're going to play for you in the next segment. But other impressive performances. I mean, several non-roster players are making the strong impressions, and we talked about Jose Miranda leads the Padres in spring with hits. He's got 10 in 27 at-bats. He's hitting .370 while trying to earn a roster spot on a minor league deal, and he's competing with guys like Ty France, who's hitting .381 in camp as he attempts to make the team after signing a minor league contract. These are the decisions that you're going to have to make on players like Miranda and France, because here's the other thing, Frank. We talked about it going into spring, but now with results, these guys aren't going to the minors. They're either on the Padres or they're going elsewhere. Like that's the only thing with this. So do you want it? Is it fool's gold with a guy like Jose Miranda and Ty France? Are you willing to give up a roster spot of a Bryce Johnson? Are you willing to put Sungmoon Song maybe in the minor leagues or start him on the IL? I mean, these are the decisions you have to make to get these guys on the team, because you know they're not going to be on the team and they're not going to be part of the organization. They're going to get picked up. That's why I think this is why I kept talking about like the Bryce Johnson situation with some of the players that they've brought in and other guys getting reps in the outfield. I think the Padres value the guys hitting a little bit more than maybe like what the use of a fourth outfielder could be in a guy like Bryce Johnson. I think Bryce Johnson brings a lot to the table, but Craig Stammen, Frank, said it in the post game over the weekend, especially about Ty France. If you hit, we will find a spot for you. And right now, Jose Miranda and Ty France are hitting.
Yep. Yes, they are.
They're hitting.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to be an interesting conversation. And that's going to keep progressing. And you know what? There's still more time for these guys to go out there and put on a performance. And they're going to have to try to make this team. I mean, if making this team means you got to hit 380 in spring training, then you got to hit 380 in spring training. So a lot to unpack. We'll get to the pitchers in just a little bit, but an intriguing storyline involves Nick Castellanos. And what did Craig Stammen talk about Nick Castellanos? What did he say about Nick Castellanos? We'll talk about it when we come back, and we'll play for you what Craig Stammen said today about Castellanos as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All guests on 97 through the Fan, join us on the SDCCU Fan Hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. We're going to hear from Craig Stammen here in just a little bit. But we want to get to some stuff with Nick Castellanos. Now, Nick Castellanos has done a pretty good job so far this spring for the San Diego Padres. A lot of these hitters have done really well this spring. And if you missed our open, we talked about that Steven Souza Jr. effect so far in spring training. Now, it doesn't really matter until you get to the regular season. But so far, the young coaching staff has brought a modern approach to the game. In fact, the players love it. But another intriguing storyline involves Nick Castellanos, who has reached base consistently with a .464 on base percentage while transitioning to first base after spending 8 seasons in right field. The position change could become an important roster dynamic if he continues to perform at such a high level during spring, but then ultimately in the regular season. So how is he doing defensively at first base? Here's what Craig Stammen, as I'll let Frank get the audio ready. Here's how this is what Craig Stammen had to say about Nick Castellanos and the improvement he's seen from Nick at first base.
He's getting better. Every time he's out there, it's a learning experience. And instead of going after those 2 balls that were to the second baseman yesterday, he retreated back to first base and caught it like a first baseman. You know, you think it's like something that people should just know, but he's been an outfielder for most of his career. It's, if the ball's hit, go get it. And first base, it's a little bit different position or different, mindset, when you got the lefty up and you got the second baseman playing over. So working through those little details.
You were pretty open when you first arrived that it might work, it might not work at first base. What's your overall assessment just a few weeks
with Castellanos? Yeah, so far I think it's working really well. He's a big target over there, big boy, and he's a good athlete, moves really well. I think it's definitely something we're going to continue to go forward with.
He was working in the outfield early, but he hasn't played there. Is that because he's played there for a long time? Or is outfield out for him?
Yeah, according to him, he said, I can play outfield whenever you need me to play outfield. And so I think we got to get him up to speed at first base. That's number one priority. He'll be playing some outfield as we go forward.
That's interesting. So Castellanos playing some outfield. They're going to have Sungmoon Song play some outfield. Gavin Sheets got to start in outfield over the weekend. Interesting, Frank. There's a lot of guys playing in the outfield. I'm telling you, it's starting to look more towards we need guys on this team that are going to swing the stick, and we need guys that can hit, and we're going to figure out the defense later on, which I'm okay with. That's how I'd build my baseball teams. I mean, it is important to play defense, but at the same time, if you need to rank the 3 things in baseball in terms of priority between pitching, hitting, and defense is last for me out of the 3 every time.
Yeah, that was a discussion that we had last season, but this is certainly, they are certainly looking for a certain archetype of player, and that guy is a utility, can play anywhere kind of guy. They don't want the infield specialist. They don't want the outfield specialist. They definitely want a guy who can play either or, that can be flexible and play just about anywhere. And it's interesting how they're doing this. Again, Sungmoon Song has never played in the outfield before, at least to my knowledge, at least.
Sorry, you thought Bobby Witt Jr. was a second baseman.
Yeah, exactly.
He's working.
They have him working in the outfield. They've got Nick Castellanos going to first base. They had Gavin Sheets go to first base. Granted, it was a different coaching staff. Last year, they had him working in the outfield. So they definitely have their eyes set on a certain type of player, and they're trying to make it work with the guys who are hitting.
I think a lot of the moves that they have now made in the last couple of weeks have showed to you that they're trying to find a way to get a Jose Miranda on the team, to get a Ty France on the team, to try to make things work out with the bats. And I think they're building a team that has the best 13 hitters on in the organization on this team. And I think that's important. I think every aspect of the game is important. But if you had to rank, like pitching, you could make arguments for pitching to be the number one thing and batters, right? You could do this. You could do both. I can hear arguments on both. And usually if one's really dominant and the other one's mediocre at best, those teams usually don't do very well. But if you're going to have to take a part of the game that is not going to be as good, I would take it on the defensive side of things over pitching and over hitting, because when's the last time you saw a team that was all based on fielding only go win a World Series? That didn't have the pitching and didn't have the hitting. Can they go win a World Series? No. If you got a team that's loaded with pitching, they can win a World Series. You got a team that's got a bunch of bombers on the team, right? That can hit the ball over the yard. They might run into a pitching buzzsaw, but they have the ability to win it all. If you just had a team based on defense, you're probably not winning the World Series. You need guys that can pitch. You need guys that can swing the stick. Padres could use a little bit more of the swing of the stick. I think the biggest part that's going to hurt them more than defense, though, Frank, would probably be late inning base running. Like, I don't know if you're putting a pinch runner out there on second base as the winning run in the ninth inning with the guys that you currently have. I mean, there are some guys that are fast, but those guys are in the lineup. Those guys are on the roster. Ty France isn't super fast. I haven't been able to watch Sung-Moon Son run. I don't know if he is a speed guy. I mean, that's where Bryce Johnson is really getting the edge on some of these guys. But everything to me is leaning towards Jose Miranda, Ty France, those type of players that are competing in camp right now, getting a spot on this team because they're worried about the bats. I think they want to see a team that can swing it. Now, I think in the playoffs, I think they got enough young guys, Frank, in the minor leagues that they could bring up to be a base runner later in the season. I think you need it more later in the season. Maybe you could trade for someone like that later in the season. But at the beginning of the year, I don't necessarily think you need that guy off the bench to pinch run as much as some guys that could spot start and some guys that could play or can swing it. I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm looking at Sung-Moon Song's Korean stats right now. He stole 21 bases in 2024 and 25 in 2025. So he's got 46 stolen bases over the last 2 years. He's only been caught twice. He was caught twice last year in those 2 years. So you could probably see a spot where he would be your late inning pinch runner. But other than that, I mean, you're right. If there is one late area that I would miss out on, it would be late inning base running.
Again, if you have to make that decision.
Yeah.
From a pitching side of things from over the weekend, the competition for the rotation and bullpen are intensifying. How about Armand Marquez on Friday? He delivered 3 scoreless innings in his second spring start after signing a 1-year, $1.75 million deal, strengthening his case for a rotation spot. And by the way, that guy's on a major league contract. Raul wants to know why we haven't seen Verdugo. Verdugo is he signed a minor league deal. He's in minor league camp. He's not in major league camp. That doesn't mean he can't play in Cactus League games, but I would be shocked if he might start eventually, but Alex Verdugo is you're not going to see him like in these lineups with all the starters in it too much.
Yeah,
that guy's a minor league depth piece right now for what he signed for and what camp he's in. So I don't think you're going to see a lot of Alex Verdugo. Back to Armand Marquez. He's got the edge on Walker Buehler because he didn't sign a minor league deal. He signed a 1-year, $1.75 million contract. He looked pretty good in the 3 scoreless innings in his spring debut on Friday. And by the way, after that, Marco Gonzalez came in and he had 5 strikeouts. Was that his second outing after he got lit up in the first one? Again, coming off of the UCL injury or whatever, the flexor tendon surgery that he had that knocked him out for a season.
I believe it was.
That's a big bounce back for a guy like Marco Gonzalez. And Marco Gonzalez is a lefty. He's like one of the only lefties competing for a roster spot. This starting rotation battle has taken a different turn. I mean, there's guys that are really putting together some good outings that are competing for a spot. You saw Walker Buehler do it on Thursday, and then Armand Marquez does it on Friday, Frank.
Yeah, and that is absolutely huge. And we talked about it. And I mean, of course, it's always nice to be able to talk about, oh, well, if this guy makes the team, if that guy makes the team, and we have all these pieces. You knew that this was going to be the case all along in the back of your mind, whether you said it or not. You're going to be missing out on some guys that have thrown quality. And I've always heard it from one of my old baseball coaches. The two fastest ways to make it to the major leagues is catcher and a left-handed pitcher. So if that is the case, Marco Gonzalez might have a little bit of an edge as a lefty starter as compared to, say, maybe a Walker Buehler or a Herman Marquez, who pitching just about the same right about now.
The difference is Herman Marquez is a major league deal.
Yes.
So that's going to outweigh the lefty righty situation, I think, more than anything. But he was throwing some pretty good heat on his fastball, and Herman Marquez is pretty good when he's healthy, and he looked really good on Friday night. But it's increasing the competition. It's increasing the competition, and you start looking at some of the numbers of these Padre players that are competing for a rotation spot. It's going to be a tough decision. I mean, we talked about how Walker Buehler was going to be after that start. Wow, he's in a good spot right now to make this team. Not so fast. Herman Marquez with a major league deal steps up and has a great outing against the Cubs, but he has to do that a little bit more. He's going to have to do that consistently. One start's not going to make him make the team, but he already had the edge with the contract. But Marco Gonzalez, 3 scoreless innings of work too, with the 5 strikeouts after returning from flexor tendon surgery. He looked pretty good. And then you look at the rest of the bullpen. I mean, several bullpen candidates are also making strong pushes. Logan Gillespie has thrown 7 2/3 scoreless innings, which is positioning himself as a possible bridge reliever. Kyle Hart has been effective with 8 2/3 scoreless innings, while a young power arm, Bradley Rodriguez, continues to make a case for a bullpen role with 5 scoreless innings this spring. Those are guys all competing in a bullpen side. And again, the competition is getting the best out of this roster, which is the most important thing to talk about.
Yeah, that's what you wanted. You are going to get whoever ends up on this team, whether it be in the lineup, whether it be on the bench, whether it be in the starting rotation. You are going to get somebody who is battle tested and ready to go. You are going to get quality with how highly intense these spring training battles have been.
There's only so many spots on the team. I mean, we've talked about the 5 or 6 starters a lot. It sounds like they're leaning more towards 5 starters still, but it's one of these guys. I mean, a lot of these guys are not going to make this team, Frank. And if you take an extra starter, that takes away from the bullpen where you got guys like Logan Gillespie and Alec Jacob and Ron Marinaccio and guys like Kyle Hart. I mean, there's a lot of players that are battling with this team. And the worst part is you just can't hang on to everybody. That's the worst part about this, because it's not like you're like, oh, we have all this depth for the season. You're not going to have all these guys for the season. These are going to be tough decisions for the Padres at the end of March. But I'm going to tell you what, these are all good problems to have if you're the San Diego Padres. It's a lot better than going like, oh, man, we have to go with J.P. Sears this year. And I don't want to disrespect. J.P. Sears has been a project since he came over from the Athletics. He's the depth arm because he's got options and he's got years of control. They're going to get him right. There's a reason why they traded for him, right? So they're going to try to get him up to speed throughout the season, and he's going to be a guy that comes up and helps out throughout the year. But unfortunately for Padres fans, it's not going to be all these other guys that you see. It's not going to be like Herman Marquez ain't going down to the minor leagues. Walker Buehler's not going down to the minor leagues. Logan Gillespie is out of options. I mean, you might have a little bit of leverage when it comes to trades here at the end of the season. But at the same time, Frank, there's going to be a lot of teams that know, like, you're going to be desperate to get rid of some of these guys. And if I know that this guy's not making the Padres, I don't necessarily know if I'm going to trade for that guy when I can get him up on the market and not have to give something up for him.
Yeah, and that's the hard part. You cannot expect any of these guys really to be traded. You have to expect that they are going to be cut, and it's going to be a couple of very difficult cuts that you're going to have to make as the spring winds down.
Yeah, this is exactly what you wanted when you were when they made all these moves that first week of spring training. This is what you wanted. You didn't want a bunch of these guys to crash and burn, and it's like, oh, man, this didn't really work out. This is the benefit of bringing in guys that can compete. Low risk, high reward. Joe Musgrove. Hadn't talked a lot about him. He's a big, important piece this year, too. We'll talk more about it when we come back. There's a look at some of them. We're going to have Frank kind of walk around as I kind of go through what some of these promotional items are. But the Padres today announced their 2026 promotional schedule, including giveaways, theme games, and events. Every homestand, you can get single game tickets for the 2026 regular season home games on sale on Tuesday, February 3rd. So you got to still wait until next Tuesday at 10 in the morning Pacific time by visiting www.padres.com. Season ticket members have priority access to tickets and enjoy the best available seats. Season ticket memberships have sold out for the fourth consecutive season due to franchise record demand, and therefore all remaining tickets for the 2026 season are available on a single game basis. So these will be, you could buy tickets starting on February 3rd. There are 15 all-fan giveaways planned for the 2026, highlighted by fan favorites such as high-quality wearable stylish hats and bobbleheads, all of which take place during select home games throughout the season, limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance. There are 3 different styles of hats this year, and there's a bunch of other stuff. We're going to get to that, but we'll just kind of go through the beginning of the season to the end. And see if you can follow along here, Frank, with what we got. But the first giveaway will be on Friday, March 27th. That's the day after opening day. That's the Tony Gwynn opening day. There's going to be an opening series scarf presented by Sequan Casino Resort. Start the season in style with a Cozy Padres opening series scarf, which looks nice. It's great. Nice little scarf. At the beginning games, the early games at Petco Park are usually kind of chilly. But that's a good-looking scarf right there. So that will be against the Tigers on Friday, March 27th. On Monday, March 30th, this one's super cool. On Monday, March 30th, they have the night. I'm a sucker for 1998 stuff. They have a 1998 belt bag, which is perfect for it's a bag that you could bring into the ballpark, which is awesome. I know my mom's got a bag like that. My girlfriend's got a bag like that. There's a lot of different. My sister's got a bag like that, and a lot of people use them to get in the stadiums, but now you can have a Padres one, which is great. So 1998 colors too. So they've seen they've debuted the original one that they had. They've had a City Connect one, and now they got a Padres 1998 belt bag. So that will be pretty cool for everybody out there. That's Monday, March 30th. On to Thursday, April 9th against the Rockies will be the Manny's Hot Corner bobblehead. So it's Manny Machado playing third base. They got the flames around the side. It's presented by McDonald's. First 40,000 in attendance. Display-worthy collectible features Machado at third base and is a keepsake for all the faithful. That's a nice little. I like the little bottom there. That's pretty cool. What is that? Is that the armband? Pink armband? Yeah, it looks nice. Again, if you want to go back, you can rewatch this on YouTube and take a look at everything in the on the deal here. Let's move on to the next one. Wednesday, April 15th versus Seattle Mariners. The puffer vest presented by State Farm. That's that vest right there on the table. That's pretty nice. The best part about this is, like, when I was a kid, like, some of the giveaways were kind of lame, but now they have made them so legit. I mean, that's a nice little vest right there. It's presented by State Farm. That will be, again, on April 15th against the Seattle Mariners, a Wednesday game at 6:40. Not a Wednesday day game. That's a Wednesday night game. First 40,000 fans get that. Against the Cubs, there's a waffle beanie presented by Motorola Razr. Waffle beanies on April 28th against the Cubs. Top off your fit with a soft waffle beanie made for night games at the ball and a ballpark photo op. This item is limited to the first 40,000 fans in attendance as well. So that's pretty cool. I like the bobblehead. The one they had last year was cool too, but the beanie, the one they had last year was cool too. First bobblehead for Mason Miller, Thursday, May 7th, at least in a Padres uniform. They got the Mason Miller bobblehead. Watch your speed. Elite pitching with a bobblehead that nods to Miller's clutch moments on the mound. He's got fire coming off of the baseball. on his delivery, which is super cool. You can bring that a little bit closer to the camera if you want. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So Mason Miller bobblehead giveaway Thursday, May 7th. And $11 o'clock, broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Fernando just rocked a double. Fernando Tatis Jr. has been doing great during the WBC. Guy's been playing out of his mind. Hit a grand slam already. And now is a double against Israel. It's 8-1 Dominican Republic here in the top of the 7th inning. If you look at the World Baseball Classic standings, look at Tatis hustling.
It officially goes down as a single
With an
two runs scored and then advanced on the
throw.
Yeah. So a 2 RBI single for Fernando. He's got 6 of the.
He's got 68 runs.
Yeah, he's responsible. Well, he's responsible for 7.
Yeah, because
of the 8. Yeah.
No,
he's responsible for 6 because that's
6.
Yeah,
he gets the. He's responsible for 6
the
of
RBI
the
for himself.
8 Dominican runs today. Guy's been a one-man wrecking crew. Now it's against Israel, not one of the better teams in the WBC, but you'll take it in these big games. And I mean, he looks locked in already, which is great news.
This whole Dominican team looks locked in. If the U.S. or Japan isn't winning this, it's the Dominican Republic. They are so good. By the way, Manny's contribution today, 3 walks and a run scored.
How about that?
He is 0 for 0.
Manny taking some team at bats. Love it. Fernando tried to steal third, got thrown out. Fernando 2 for 4 with a run scored and 6 RBIs. Do you know what he's hitting right now in the WBC?
Same as Manny.
He's hitting 500 of the 1567 OPS.
Manny's got a 1417 OPS.
Fernando's got the highest OPS in the starting. Well, O'Neal Cruz actually is beating him right now with a 4.33 OPS, but I don't know if he's had that many at bats in this deal. But Fernando has been raking at the top of the order for this team. He's got the homer. He's got the grand slam. It's also nice that his 9-hitter is Geraldo Perdomo, by the way. Is Perdomo batting 9 on any team in the history of baseball? Maybe the Dodgers. This team's insane to watch. Team USA is playing Mexico tonight. That should be a good one. To go back to the standings for the WBC, right now, interesting. Panama's still hanging on to dear life in this tournament.
Yeah, they're getting no hit.
They're getting no hit by Colombia, who's already been eliminated in 0-3. This will be the last game for Panama and Colombia. So Colombia if Colombia wins, they'll now not be in last.
And it wouldn't have been so bad. Colombia just got all 4 of their runs in the top of the 6th inning. They're currently in the bottom of the 6th right now.
So in Pool A down in San Juan, Puerto Rico and Cuba, that game will be on around 4 o'clock, I think, Frank. That's for the number 1 spot in that pool. Now they both have 2 more games to go tonight and the next day, but Puerto Rico and Cuba trying to win the San Juan pool, if you will. Canada 1-1 at this point. They're still hanging on to try to climb into that number 2 spot to advance. Colombia has already been eliminated. In Tokyo, Japan wins the pool. And then how about Korea this morning?
I believe that was my pick to make it out of there, the second team.
Australia had a chance to make it out of Tokyo. and they got the ground ball because it's based on run differential because Japan goes 3-0, Korea, Australia, and Chinese Taipei all go 2-2, and Czechia goes 0-3, and they got to play Japan, so we know how that's going to probably work out.
I would like to apologize for bringing it up. Colombia just lost its no-hitter.
Foul.
Jose Caballero, a solo home run.
Foul.
That's...
He draws the foul.
Foul.
It's over now.
So Australia was going to win the second spot against Korea based on run differential in a 3-way tie with Korea and Chinese Taipei. They got a ground ball with 1 out in the 9th inning to potentially turn 2 to get out of the inning. The pitcher for Australia reached out to his right and tipped the ball away from the shortstop, and the run comes around to score to go up by the run differential they needed. And then they go down in the bottom of the 9th and unable to score a run. And so Korea gets to advance because they beat Australia by the amount of runs they needed to. And so Japan and Korea have clinched their spot. No Ha-Seong Kim, no Sungmoon Song for Team Korea. So those two teams will be advancing. I don't know if there's any clinching aspects yet, but that's in Pool C. In Pool D in Miami, we got the Dominican taking on Israel right now. Israel's 1-1. So a Dominican win would put them at 3-0. A loss for Israel put them at 1-2. Netherlands still kind of hanging around. They really need that game against Venezuela. They need Venezuela to be part of this deal with a couple of losses. And I got to look to see at the schedule here moving forward. But that pool's not done yet. I mean, Dominican Republic's probably going to win that pool, but that pool is not done yet in Miami. And then you got Pool B. Mexico, Italy, and the United States all tied at the top at 2-0. Great Britain, Brazil, both 0-3. They will play their final game against each other to see who doesn't come in last. But the Italians are doing pretty well, Frank. Team Mexico will play Team USA tonight at 5 o'clock. USA definitely needs to win that game. You can't find yourself in a 3-way tie of everybody being 3-1. Otherwise, you're in a disaster zone.
It's nice to see the boys in the motherland doing it the way they need to be.
They got the espresso machine in the dugout.
That's got to be that's
amazing.
That's the reason.
Amazing. They got the espresso machine in the dugout. I saw Francisco Cervelli having a nice little cup.
Took a hit.
He took a nice hit. And then, by the way, the Italians, when they hit home runs, espresso shots. How can you not love the Italians?
So that's why they're winning these games, is they're
just
up.
Amped up on espresso. They're just knocking down the espresso shots after home runs. You know who doesn't need an espresso shot? The guys coming in after they hit a big home run. I love Team Italy. They got to have some postres with it too. And dip their cookie into their what's that called? Forget the name. I'm forgetting the name. The biscotti. They got to dip the biscotti into the coffee. That needs to be their celebration now.
No, Mike Piazza is not.
I think it's Francisco Cervelli.
Francisco Cervelli is, yes. Piazza, I believe, has for one of the World Cups, one of the earlier ones. I think it was like 2009.
He played for them, too.
Yes, he played for them in the first one. I think he managed them in 2009.
Celebrate with Olive Garden breadsticks.
Okay, that's a...
He draws the foul.
Those are good, though. You can't say they're not good. They're good.
By the way, I'm looking through. I'm making the. Let me just preemptively. Squirrel. I'm making our thumbnails for the updates that we're going to record today. Who is number 17 on UC San Diego's baseball team?
I have no idea.
The mustache. Prime 1970s, and I love it so much. He's got the Raleigh Fingers curls on it. It's so good.
Upcoming games. So tonight in the WBC, Biscotti, Colombia and Panama are going up. Panama scored. They had a home run to break up the no-hitter?
Yes, they did.
Oh, that's rough. Frank spoke that into existence against the team that he picked in Panama.
I did pick Panama.
You picked Panama, yeah. Can't pick a team getting no hit by Columbia, dude, with no Nabil Krizmat. You want to know why Columbia hasn't gotten a win yet? No Nabil. Dominicans up 8-1 on Israel, bottom 7. Colombia's up on Panama, 4-1, bottom 6. Scoreless between Brazil and Great Britain in the bottom of the 4th. They're one of those teams trying to get their first win of the WBC. Cuba and Puerto Rico, big one in pool play in the A pool to get the number 1 spot. Venezuela and Nicaragua will play tonight, and the Netherlands, in order to stay alive, if I'm not mistaken, they could really use Nicaragua's victory over Venezuela to really wreak some havoc here, but I just don't know if that's going to be the case. Nicaragua's 0-3, Frank. They've been close early in a lot of games, but they just run out of gas, man. They just don't have enough horses to hang with everybody else in that pool.
Which team again? I'm sorry.
Nicaragua.
Yeah, no,
First year.
Yep, they are outgunned. At least it would appear, as I believe that's Harrison Bader fouling one off.
Paul Skeen's pitching tonight against Mexico for Team USA. And then moving on into tomorrow, games that still need to be played. Again, the Czechia and Japan game is just basically for fun at this point in time. Israel and Netherlands is a big one too, as the Netherlands try to climb their way out at 1-2. If the Netherlands gets eliminated, would you be that upset knowing that Xander Bogaerts is coming back earlier?
No.
I'm not that upset either. The Dominican team, they're not going to lose. So in this first round, so I can see why you're just going to have to get used to those guys being away. Canada and Puerto Rico is coming up tomorrow as well. Team USA and Italy's coming up tomorrow. So that will be some really good games. And then I think that's the final day is Wednesday of pool play, where you have Canada and Cuba, Italy and Mexico, which I think, Frank, is going to be for a chance to advance.
Yeah,
that's going to be the play. That's going to be the playing game to the next round. That will be fun on Wednesday. And then the Dominican Republic plays Venezuela, who also could be the game that determines number 1 versus number 2, or could be the difference between maybe the Netherlands jumping in there or Venezuela staying there. So a lot of great games still to be played in the WBC. So when we come back, I want to talk about Joe Musgrove a little bit and the importance of Joe Musgrove that cannot be understated. We'll discuss when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's number 1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 11:18 on a Monday. Lots of sports to talk about today. I mean, we got the taste a little bit. Got a little bit of the taste of March. Frank, you know it's March. 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 Got a taste. You get a little bit more of a taste this weekend. Aztec basketball will be in action on Thursday against the winner of Colorado State and Fresno State, right? I think so. I don't know how they lost to Colorado State like they did, but you know what? They did.
It is Colorado State, Fresno State.
Fresno State might be one of the worst college basketball teams I've ever seen. Colorado State is not much better. San Diego State should be able to win that, and then you got to get your revenge on New Mexico and put yourself in the championship game, and then you're 40 minutes away from potentially making the NCAA tournament. Lots to talk about when it comes to Aztec basketball that we're going to get to later on in the show. The NFL has been aggressive today. They have been really aggressive on a Monday, Frank, I have to say. I mean, they are doing a lot. There is a lot going on.
It's the first day of the NFL. Season, is it not?
First day of the NFL calendar.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Chris bitching about that last week. Everybody abides by the same calendar, and here's the NFL. They got to have their own calendar. Bro, talk about an old man yells at clouds moment for Chris. I know that happens probably a lot. I know I'm probably preaching to the choir with Matt Scraby. I was like, calm down, my guy. They have different times for the different cities. What does it matter? Do you want the NFL calendar to change on January 1st in the middle of the season? Could you imagine that? Oh, then it'd be like college football. You'd have the transfer portal open when there's still games going on. Maybe that is better. Maybe it's not. We'll have you updated on everything that is happening in the National Football League in our next segment, which is going to lead into our sports thread. But let's talk about the situation of the San Diego Padres pitching staff. Now, there's a lot of guys battling for spots right now. We talked about what happened over the weekend, right? There's a lot going on over the weekend for the San Diego Padres. But Joe Musgrove, who I thought, we agreed, Frank, that like a lot of the numbers look pretty good for Joe last Wednesday.
Yes.
And so his comeback is something that's important for the Padres. Can he anchor the Padres rotation after Tommy John surgery? The Padres are into the 2026 season with a major question hanging over the pitching staff, and that's the sense of what version of Joe Musgrove will they get after Tommy John surgery. 17 months after undergoing the procedure to repair a damaged ulnar collateral ligament, Musgrove returned to the mound in a televised exhibition appearance, making his first competitive outing since the 2024 National League Wildcard Series when he pitched despite the injury. Before the game, Craig Stammen made a bold statement about Musgrove's potential. Stammen said Musgrove is capable of being the best pitcher in the National League, citing his work ethic, preparation, and attention to detail. However, he also acknowledged that returning pitchers rarely have guaranteed outcomes after Tommy John surgery. In fact, Joe Musgrove even talked about how that injury has lingered for a lot of players after coming back from the surgery. It's lingered for a couple of years. And then the next day after Walker Buehler pitched, and he looked really good in his outing, they asked about him coming back and went along the lines of the words that Joe Musgrove used in terms of his overall health after the outing, and asked Walker Buehler about that. And he said, yeah, for the first time in forever, 4 weeks ago, I didn't have pain in my elbow. And he had Tommy John surgery 2 years ago. So it happens. Like, that happens a lot. So he's recovering, coming back from a major surgery. He's 17 months removed from Tommy John. And the mindset for Joe is and for this team is to keep the focus on the health and consistency more than the dominance. And Craig Stammen talked about the bold claims, right? But again, Tommy John recoveries are never guaranteed. But here are the encouraging signs about Joe Musgrove. A lot of positive indicators from the outing he had on Wednesday. His fastball averaged 94 miles an hour. It topped off at 95.2 miles an hour, and he struck out Jazz Chisholm Jr., who is in the major leagues, and he's on the New York Yankees. So the velocity has appeared to fully recovered. That's a big step, Frank, in this recovery from Tommy John, is getting some of that velocity back. And it looks like he has gotten to the point where, at least right now, early, the velocity is relatively where it was when he got hurt.
And that's the biggest thing. And we saw on the metrics that we displayed last week for both Musgrove and Walker Buehler that their arm slots are about even to where they used to be. So they're not mixing up to try to make themselves feel more comfortable while they're throwing. So all signs right now, especially with Joe Musgrove, are looking very, very good.
Very, very good. Very, very good. You have to obviously talk about rust and fatigue that's still going to be present. He faced some challenges in that first outing. He had a 26-pitch first inning against Great Britain. He had to get pulled and then go back in. He had 3 straight singles allowed throughout the game. His velocity dropped slightly later in the outing, which is going to come up, right? I mean, he has to build back up. And that's very typical for pitchers building stamina after surgery. But the Padres rotation is full of a lot of question marks. Possible starters include Michael King, coming off of injuries from last year. Walker Buehler, who has not looked good in his last 2 years of baseball, but looked good in his last outing. Armand Marquez, another guy battling injuries. But the Padres are relying heavily on comeback pitchers. And this is why it's not shocking that a lot of predictive markets, if you will, and predictive outlets, Frank, don't see the Padres winning a lot of games, because they are relying on every one of their starting pitchers in the rotation all have a question mark. There's not one that's a for sure guarantee.
No, exactly. And going through it, Michael King had his injuries last year. We know what Joe Musgrove has been. We don't know whether or not Nick Pivetta will be able to duplicate what he did last year. We don't know if Randy Vasquez is going to be the traffic cop that we saw last year, or if he's going to start to really grow into his role in the starting rotation. And we don't know who the number 5 starter is. So that does not play well into prediction markets when you have a major question on every single one of your starting pitchers going every single day.
And that's a big reason why there are all these question marks. I mean, you got some high praise from Craig Stammen. He said, how realistic? I mean, he said that Joe Musgrove could potentially be the best pitcher in the National League. I think a lot of that's coach speak. I think a lot of that is the fact that they played together. I mean, obviously it highlights a lot of the stuff in terms of Joe's work ethic and getting back to this point and recovering very quickly, I would say, Frank. I mean, his recovery was really quick for these particular injuries. But, you know, how realistic is Craig Stammen's claim that Joe Musgrove could be the best pitcher in the National League at this point in Joe Musgrove's career? I just find that to be very difficult to believe. I think Joe Musgrove is a really good pitcher, but, you know, I don't think the expectation is for him to be at that kind of level. That's nice for Craig to say, but at this part in Joe's career, I don't know if he could be the best pitcher in the National League.
I think those
it's a
days,
lot of
honestly,
coach speak.
Those days have come and gone. I think if we're speaking honestly about it, he is still a great pitcher, without a doubt. He's still a solid pitcher, and we'll see how close he gets to how he used to be. But I don't see greatest pitcher in the National League.
He said he could be at that level, but it's based on like how talented he is and the work ethic. And I get that. I think he could be one of the best. I think he could be one of the better. And if he is one of the better pitchers in the National League, the Padres are in a really good spot. And I can't wait to see Randy Vasquez again. I'm actually excited for every time Randy Vasquez comes to the mound in spring training, because he just keeps building and building and building. And he's supposed to be your number 4 starter. Be nice to get Nick Pivetta back to what he was last year. Be nice to have Michael King really lock in. So far, they haven't looked very great in spring training as they continue to work on things, but this rotation's interesting to see. So it's very interesting to see how they put together this rotation, because Armand Marquez and Walker Buehler both threw really well. And we haven't talked a lot about Griffin Canning, because we don't get to see Griffin Canning, because he's not going to be able to pitch really until May, at least in a full capacity. But Are the Padres taking a huge risk relying on multiple injury recovery pitchers in the rotation? We'll discuss that next, plus get to the sports thread and update you on what's going on in the NFL today. A lot of moves. Where are guys going? We'll let you know when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97 through the Fan. All guests on 97 to the Fan. Join us on the SDCCU Fan Hotline. It's not big bank banking. It's better. I want to remind everybody, listen at 1 o'clock for us to announce today's biggest fan for a chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padres game with all the fan staff. Register your name at 97tothefansd.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. You know, Frank, I've had a lot of people reach out to me about, when are you guys going to talk about this? When are you guys going to talk about that? When are you guys going to, why aren't you guys talking about March Madness? Why aren't you guys talking about the NBA? Why aren't you talking about this thing? You know what, Frank?
Never.
I get that all the time. We only have 4 hours to really get into a lot of different stuff, which means we kind of have to put it somewhere else. And so, yes, I've heard all the call. I've heard the talks. I've heard all the calls. I've heard all that stuff. We're doing on YouTube. So on YouTube.com, throughout the week, we post videos, weekly recaps of the NFL, of the NBA, the NHL, a lot of local teams in town. We got an update on San Diego FC that we put on there, San Diego State's, all of their big sports, UCSD, USD, the San Diego Goals. I mean, we got it all. We got it all. But sometimes you got to go to the YouTube feed to get a lot of that content. We play a lot of it for you as kind of commercial breaks on YouTube, but we don't play the whole thing. That's going to get released throughout the week. We got motorsports updates. We got a full update from Frank that we got posting with some stuff. So if you haven't done so already, go to youtube.com/@B_SURP. If you do that, it will pull up our page, the Braden Surprenant Show page, and there, hit subscribe. If you subscribe to our YouTube page, it makes it a lot easier to access a lot of this stuff, and you get a lot of breakdowns of all the teams in town. We got a high school sports update on there as well. Most of the content and a lot of the content that we are unable to really show you or talk about on the air, unless it's like very, very big, we post on social media. We post on YouTube. So go to our YouTube page. We have playlists that have all of this stuff in there. Weekly updates on the goals, weekly updates on San Diego FC, on the NHL, on the NBA. We are going to have a full recap of the NFL offseason from today. I mean, the NFL free agency has been in full force. We're going to talk about that in a second and get to our sports thread. We'll have updates on UCSD, San Diego State, USD, all the college sports in town, plus March Madness previews, college basketball tournament free. We got all of that for you on our YouTube page. If you haven't done so already, be a subscriber. It's free to do. It doesn't cost you a thing, and we just constantly are putting out content out there. We're going to start to just keep adding to the list for YouTube. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our YouTube page. It's great. Got a lot of great content. I can't wait to dive into the content that Frank had over the weekend. Frank had a great weekend out there in Phoenix, talking to a lot, rubbing elbows with the NASCAR people, huh? I'm glad he made it back safely. He drove. Yes. He left at like 2 a.m. on Saturday. And then what time did you get in last night?
Probably about 11 last night.
That's a fun drive. Stop in Dateland to get some gas, get a date shake.
No, I stopped in Yuma on the way back.
Foul.
He draws the foul.
Foul.
Sorry.
Oh, Mike Evans goes to the Niners. See that? We got some good stuff today in the NFL. Good stuff in the NFL. Our boy Wandy Peralta is pitching now too, by the way. Wandy Peralta trying to work a 1-2-3 inning in the WBC. Ground ball to short. Perdomo's all over it, shifted over, makes the play. How about that? Wandy Peralta. Padres doing well for the Dominican Republic right now. Tell you what. All right. We were going to dive into this rotation, right? And the question of following the conversation about Joe Musgrove coming back, are the Padres taking a huge risk relying on multiple injury recovery pitchers in the rotation? The answer to that is yes, but I think the risk reward makes sense for the Padres in this particular case. Because the risk, I mean, I know you're putting all your eggs in that basket, but you brought in a lot of young, and we've had this conversation multiple times. You have brought in a lot of younger, older players, if that makes sense. A lot of guys in their early 30s that have been question marks, but still have the capability and the talent and the athleticism to really have good years that don't cost you a lot of money, that are going to be part of this rotation. I think the risk definitely is worth the reward for what some of these guys can do. And Randy Vasquez, who's pitching today, he's another question mark in there. He's one of the younger guys in this rotation. He's already off to a great spring. Plus, he's touching 97, 98 right now on his fastball, which is also great to see. But I think it's a risk that is definitely necessary to take if you're going to be the team that's competing in 2026 based on the money that you've already spent on your roster.
Yeah, and you want to build out. The Padres have taken the thought the last couple of years of building out your roster full of veterans. Good to do. But they're in their late 30s, early 40s in Nelson Cruz's case. Now you have
Yuli Gurriel, Nelson Cruz, Jason Hayward, just to name a few.
Yeah,
Robinson Cano, Rougned Odor.
Yeah.
Come on.
Now you're building up your bench with veterans who have been here and have done it before, but they are in their mid to younger 30s. So that brings more viability, that brings a little bit more energy, that also brings a little bit more ability off of the bench. So that is where the Padres have made a very crucial change this offseason.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why it's exciting to see what can come out of this team and what can be this rotation. I mean, if you look at right now, the guys that are competing for rotation spots, aside from like JP Sears, who hasn't been that great, he's had some moments, but the two guys at the top of the order, Frank, or the top of the rotation, those are the guys that have struggled the most right now during spring working on stuff. It's been the guys battling for spots that have had really good outings. And here's the deal. Even some of the guys like Marco Gonzalez, Tristan McKenzie, JP Sears, who all started off poorly, have all had bounce back outings after that, which is also encouraging to see. I mean, Marco Gonzalez, I thought was no way he makes the rotation. And then now it's like, well, you know what? 3 scoreless, 5 punch outs, lefty. It just adds to this competition. And I can't wait to see what Randy Vasquez has in store. He's a guy that has definitely earned his spot on the team, who already had the edge on everybody else. But there's got to be risk involved with the Padres filling out a roster right now when you are spending a lot of your money on a couple of players.
Yeah, he has looked very, very good. And this was what you were expecting and hoping for when you signed so many of these fringe major league players that could become that could make the team out of spring training, is you wanted this high ability. And like I said earlier in the hour, you are going to get, going into the season, you're not going to get a fringe guy who's like, yeah, he probably could make it. He probably couldn't. He might have a good season, might not. You're getting battle-tested players who are already in midseason form because they had to be, because they were fighting with 5 other people to try to get on, just to try to make the team in the first place.
Love the competition. Love the healthy competition in camp. I think it's just you're going to get the cream's going to rise to the top, and you're going to get the best. And you're going to get the best out of the group. And you know what? There's going to be some guys that are going to be playing for other teams, because that's the other thing too. Not only, we just are focused on the Padres, but all of these players are not just competing for a spot on the Padres. They're competing for a spot on a team. So they're going to continue to do it, even though they might be slipping in the depth chart on this team. They still got to push the competition and push the envelope, because they're auditioning and they're trying out for 29 other clubs. I guess Fernando's day is done. He already took his jersey off. Must be done for the day. Dominican up 9-1 in the top of the 9th. Not going to let him go out in the field. 2 outs and Manny's up. We'll see what Manny can do here. He's walked 3 times today.
Yeah, he grounded out to short his last time up.
His at-bats have been
Soto
very... He went to the track.
Oh.
He thought he did. Doesn't have the pop like Fernando does.
There it is.
Manny's he's had some pretty patient at-bats. Yeah, do some push-ups, Juan. Get some push-ups in. He's had some pretty patient at bats. We're going to talk about the NFL here in a second, but there's a lot of moves just happening, just full force. I think, Frank, you got some of them in the sports thread?
Yeah, I figured we'll just designate the entire sports thread to it at this point.
All right. Well, let's get to the sports thread, and then what we don't talk about, we'll talk about at noon. But the NFL is on a tear today in the beginning part of the new season of the new calendar year for the NFL. Free agency is open, and you got a lot of guys moving around right now in the National Football League.
You know that group chat, the one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
Not even going to bother with the numbers here today, since we're more or less going to be going, just going to be going through this. If you want to know where we're getting this, just follow along on the on ESPN.com. They have a live up to the second free agency tracker for the NFL on there right now. The most recent thing was from Tom Pelissero, who just posted the details of Malik Will's contract. He signed a 3-year, $67.5 million deal.
Malik Willis?
Yeah, Malik Willis. Just signed a...
Did you call him Wheels?
Did I?
It sounded like you said Wheels.
Well, my bad. In that case, Willis is.
I bet you wish he was named Malik Wheels. Maybe he could run faster.
3-year, $67.5 million deal with the Dolphins. He will be the new Dolphins QB1 this season with Tua Tagovailoa. Oh man, he just hit a home run.
Nice.
Oh no, never mind. Pardon me. It was Gonzalez with a double down the line. Mandy going from first all the way around.
Wow. Manny got on. Did he walk again?
Manny got some wheels. I'm not sure. I didn't see how he got on. I just saw he went around.
Squirrel.
Exactly. It's going to be a $45 million fully guaranteed for Malik Willis. $22.25 million signing bonus. And fully guaranteed salary of $1.25 million in 26, 21.5 in 2027.
Who signed him?
The Dolphins.
The Dolphins.
Yes.
So that's the guy that they want to make their starting quarterback?
Yes.
Is Malik Willis?
Yep. Malik Willis is their new starting quarterback.
Malik Willis. I'm not a big believer in Malik Willis. I just, Malik Willis was awful with Tennessee as a 3rd round pick of the Titans in 2022. He was traded to Green Bay. He did okay with Green Bay, like as a fill-in, but after Jordan Love got hurt, that's the guy. Like, he's going to be better than Tua. He's going to be cheaper than Tua, I guess. But 2 seasons with the Packers, Willis appeared in 11 games with 3 starts. He's 2-1 at a high completion percentage, I guess. 6 touchdowns with a pick. He also had 3 rushing touchdowns. I don't see it. I told
you this before. The Miami Marlins have a $67 million payroll this year. Tua Tagovailoa's dead cap hit for the Dolphins this year is going to be $99 million.
That is ridiculous.
That is insane. From 10 minutes ago from Adam Schefter, former Browns linebacker Devin Bush reached an agreement today on a 3-year, $30 million deal that includes $21 million guaranteed with the Chicago Bears per agent Drew Rosenhaus.
I pick up a linebacker. That's fine. I mean, some of the bigger deals too, like the Niners. The Niners just signed
Mike Evans.
Yes. That could be the next one. Fire it up.
Yeah, star wide receiver Mike Evans leaving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, signed a 3-year deal with the 49ers, sources told Adam Schefter. The Bucs' 7th overall pick in 2014, and the first ever draft pick by Bucs general manager Jason Light. Evans spent 12 seasons with the franchise, becoming the franchise's all-time leader in points scored with 662.
I like this move for the Niners, but this comes with some massive risk because Mike Evans has been hurt a lot, and he's getting up there in age. So, they didn't have the contract details, I think. Did they have the I don't think they had the contract
No,
details.
not on this particular
Hopefully
notice.
it's not a ton of money. You need to get some weapons in there for Brock Purdy. But here's the deal. You gave Brock Purdy a lot of money, which means, guess what? You now have less money to spend on other guys. You got to take a risk on a guy like Mike Evans. Mike Evans is a great signing a couple of years ago. I think it's a solid signing for the Niners, but how many games is Mike Evans going to play this year? 14? As at the ceiling? 13 and a half? Over under 13 and a half games Mike Evans plays this year. If he plays a full season, it's great. If not, those are the type of moves you have to make. 3-year deal with the Niners?
Yep.
None of these contracts are guaranteed. That's why they're able to pull some of these off. I thought that was a big one for today. The other one I thought that was big from earlier, and there's a couple. I mean, Jahan Dotson signing with the Falcons on a 2-year deal.
Kobe Bryant goes to the Bears. Not that Kobe Bryant. Steelers have agreed to with cornerback Jamal Dean on a 3-year, $36.75 million deal. Jalen Naylor going to the Raiders, 3 years, 35.
You got Brian Daboll's bringing a couple of Giants down to the Titans.
Okay.
Wan'Dale Robinson is signed with the Titans, as well as Bellinger, the Aztec, San Diego State Aztec, is coming down. The tight end's coming down to Tennessee. Those are some other moves that have happened. Travis Etienne Jr. is now a member of the New Orleans Saints. Interesting. Saints also reached a deal on Monday to a 4-year, $61 million contract with former Bills guard David Edwards, building up on the line. But some running backs moving. Travis Etienne Jr. not going to be on the Jags next year. He'll be a New Orleans Saint. And Kenneth Walker III to Kansas City. That's a big pickup for a team that has been really lacking in the running back department, Frank.
Yes. Speaking of running backs, Breece Hall franchise tagged by the Jets today.
They got to keep him.
Falcons are signing 41-year-old kicker Nick Folk to a 2-year deal, which if there's
Nick Folk has been in the league for so long.
Yeah, if there's any position you can sign a guy in his 40s, kicker is it.
Cardinals picked up Tyler Algier. Doesn't move me.
Another Kobe. Oh, never mind. That's from earlier. Just trying to look through here. There's so much happening today.
The other one too, we're gonna take a deeper dive into this at noon. The other one that was big was the Alec Pierce signing. He re-signed with the Colts, 4 years, $116 million.
Mitch Trubisky to the Titans.
I mean, I know Alec Pierce has elite deep threat metrics, but he really doesn't do a lot for Indianapolis. He's like a number 3 receiver, maybe a number 2 at the most. And they gave him $116 million. He gets $116 million. What is George Pickens going to ask for after he got franchise tagged by the Cowboys? I mean, what a waste of money for the Colts. I mean, Alec Pierce, you can find an Alec Pierce for way cheaper than $116 million. That is big money for a vertical weapon who, I guess finally broke out during last season, but not enough to me. I mean, you want to give a grade for this. This has got to be under a B.
Colts also traded Michael Pittman Jr. to the Steelers today.
Yeah, so you sign Alec Pierce to a big deal and then you trade Michael Pittman? Do they believe that Alec Pierce is like a number 1? I don't get it. I really don't. We got any other sports red things? Cowboys traded for Rashawn Gary.
Oh, of course. Kenneth Walker III goes to Kansas City.
I mentioned that.
Jordan Ronan saying that the Giants had put in an offer for him. They ended up getting former Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely. They ended up signing him. Neville Gallimore going to the Bears, 2 years, $12 million. There's so much happening in the NFL today with the season opening up.
The Cowboys picked up Rashawn Gary that I just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
That is wild. It cost him a 2027 4th-round pick. And Gary, since his ACL injury, has an 8% pass rush win rate, which is the 18th percentile, a 9% pressure rate. He's getting $19.5 million this season. The Cowboys gave up a pick to pay to pay a declining player. And the Packers might have cut him anyway. So the Packers got something out like, oh, cool, yeah, 4th-round pick. Sounds good. What the Cowboys, man. I can't believe the Cowboys and the decision that they make. Jerry is just they're never going to win with Jerry Jones.
His world.
Never going to win with Jerry Jones. Keep you updated on what's going on in the NFL when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Urban Sports Station 97 through the Fan. If you missed anything that we have said already, if you're driving around, we're talking about the promotional giveaways for the Padres here in 2026. If you want to check out the website where you could get this, is padres.com/giveaways, and it'll have the whole list. And again, if you want to buy tickets to these games, you could start going. The single game tickets are on sale on Tuesday, February 3rd. At 10 in the morning. That's the first chance that you have. Obviously, season ticket memberships have priority to do that. As we move along, we got the patriotic Aloha shirt for the day after Memorial Day. I think May 26th. So it's a Tuesday. Maybe it's coming before, but celebrate America's upcoming 250th birthday with the Padres theme patriotic Aloha shirt. Pretty nice. Got the Blue Angels on there. It's got the Padres logo. It's got the Padres military logo on a baseball. Nice little Hawaiian shirt, patriotic, against the Phillies on May 26th. Coming up on Tuesday, June 9th, against the Reds. Bogey goes boom bobblehead. You got a Xander Bogaerts finishing his home run swing with his signature gray and maroon bat. So that's pretty cool bobblehead as well. It's presented by Palomar Specialty Insurance on June 9th. So Bogaerts has a bobblehead on Tuesday, June 9th. Coming up on Monday, June 22nd, against the Atlanta Braves. Got the Western snapback hat. Kind of looks like a rodeo hat. It's pretty cool looking. It's got San Diego Padres in the Western font, if you will, or San Diego Padres written in Western font with the SD logo in the middle. Pretty cool looking hat right there. That's presented by Petco. First 40,000 fans in attendance will have that one. Again, all of these are for the first 40,000 fans for these, unless I say otherwise. Wednesday, July 8th, Trevor Hoffman bobblehead. He's repping the navy blue 1998 gear. Honor the Hall of Famer and Padres legendary closer with the Trevor Hoffman bobblehead. Presented by Canels. This bobblehead limited the first 40,000 fans, so it's in stride. Trevor Hoffman, kind of a classic look at bobblehead against the Diamondbacks in July. On July 12th, just for the kids, they have the Squeeze Top water bottle, which is a kids giveaway. I don't know if they have that here today because it's a kids giveaway. Again, some of these are for the first 40,000 fans. Some of them are for the first 10,000 fans. It's a kind of little water bottle for kids 14 and under. It looks like an ice cream sundae, which is pretty cool. Tuesday, July 28th. I know a lot of you guys love this one. It's presented by Soapy Joe's, the poncho. Got the San Diego Padres poncho. Looks pretty nice. I like it. I'm sure you'll see a lot of you guys repping that out there at Padre games. That's on July 28th. Bucket hats. Everybody loves the bucket hat. You got a reversible bucket hat, which you have multiple looks for. You have the Padres white home uniform version. You also have the sand away version as well with the swinging friar on it. Multiple looks. Home and away bucket hat will be Thursday, July 30th against the Giants. A 6:40 start, first 40,000 fans. Coming up on August 10th, a superhero pocket tee presented by San Diego Community Power, which is pretty cool. Usually right after the Comic-Con road trip that the Padres have to go on. So a little bit of a superhero t-shirt. Pretty good front and back. It's got that front pocket. Small logo in the front, big logo in the back. It's good style for a t-shirt, let me tell you. Coming up on Sunday, August 23rd, It's another kids giveaway. You can check that on the website. Monday, August 24th, the next day against the Pirates, you got the Jackson Merrill robbery bobblehead. So it's Jackson Merrill robbing a home run with the blue fence right there in his home uniform. It's a pretty cool looking bobblehead. And then this is the best one. You thought you were going to give away. You thought you were going to get a secret. You thought you were going to get a secret. You thought you were going to find out about the City Connect uniforms. Well, we have the bobblehead for the City Connect uniforms. It just hasn't been painted yet. They're not going to display that until the new City Connect uniforms are out. But they have the Fernando Tatis City Connect bobblehead presented by Big Bully Turf. That will be on
Time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the gas lamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New Lunchtime Hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by the Craft Taco. Bold flavors at 2 locations, Sorrento Valley and inside Balboa Park's Natural History Museum. How was the food, by the way?
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where are the damn tacos at?
I need tacos. You know what I don't need? I don't need tacos. I woke up so bloated today because of like a week, Wednesday to Sunday, of eating and drinking for birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
I need a cleanse. I need to drink some more water. I need less tacos in my life, and then I can get a lot of Craft Taco.
I need a cleanse after this week as well. Now, they said there was food. They showed there was food, but it was only in like the main television broadcast area, like in the main television booths, and not knowing my way around NASCAR the way I don't. I did not want to go in there and impose on a meal that was not necessarily for me, or at least it didn't seem like it was for me.
They didn't have media food for the press?
Not that I saw. Again, it was in one of the broadcast booths. So I didn't want to just go in and start grabbing food, right? But they did have a little kitchenette in there with like bags of chips and hot dogs that rolled on that roller for an unknown amount of time.
More than a 7-Eleven?
Yes.
Was that it was a gas station level hot dog?
Yeah. I had it last year and I learned my lesson very, very quickly.
That's a long drive home, dude, with that hot dog sitting in your stomach, and you only got Dateland to finish that off.
It was a long race and drive home with that hot dog sitting in there last year. They did have Bluebell creamsicles, which I was very fond of over the weekend.
They had Bluebell ice cream there?
Yes, they did.
Bluebell actual scooped ice cream is some of the best.
No, they had it was the creamsicles were very good. They also had like the Bluebell. I think it was like the ice cream sandwiches.
Was it Bluebell or Blue Bunny? There's a difference.
You know, come to think of it, it might have been Blue Bunny.
Out.
It might have been Blue Bunny.
Thumbs down. Bluebell, money. Blue Bunny, not.
I don't remember.
I don't think they have Bluebell in Arizona.
Oh, so that must have been.
It's a Texas ice cream. Bluebell is great. Blue Bunny,
When it's a choice between Blue Bunny and nothing, I took Blue Bunny, believe it or not.
I would take that.
And it was fine.
Frank got his fast cargo vroom fix.
No kidding.
Guy was a pig in mud out there in Phoenix.
I went, it was artist Disneyland for 2 days.
I had some good food over the weekend. Went to Casa de Pico yesterday. Great. Always get the same thing there.
Okay.
I always get the combo, the number one combo.
That was not me laughing at what you had. That was me. I saw Go Aztecs comment.
Yeah, Blue Frog's great. Number one combo, great. I get a crunchy beef taco. Not up to par with Kraft taco, of course. A cheese enchilada and a bean and cheese burrito. It's amazing.
Nice.
That's how you down the Mexican sit-down restaurants. I went to Malarkey's in Newport. We wanted to go to Mutt Lynch's because Mutt Lynch's is great in Newport. If everybody's been to Mutt Lynch's, it's a great spot. It's right there on the beach. But it was a Saturday. It was 1 o'clock, and the weather was nice. It was like a summer day. That place was kind of packed, as you would imagine. So we went to Malarkey's instead. Malarkey's was solid. Nice little prime rib dip sandwich.
Nice.
Those are always good. Solid.
I had a little bit of an adventure with it was probably, it had to have been like 10 o'clock at night before I left the racetrack on Saturday.
I want to know about this like stab cabin you stayed at.
So this leads to it because I had a time at the end of the O'Reilly
Where
race.
did you stay?
I stayed at like a Travelers Inn that was maybe 10 miles away from the racetrack. But for those of you who've never been to Phoenix, which I'm assuming is a lot of you.
Well, here's the other thing too. You kind of got hosed because you have Phoenix. I would imagine a lot of Phoenix hotels are probably booked right now. With all the events going on. Well, plus you had IndyCar and NASCAR there at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, continue.
Which is why I booked it the morning I found out that I got my credential approved. For those of you who've never been to Phoenix Raceway, it's not in Phoenix. It's in Avondale. It's straight down Avondale Boulevard. It's about a 6-mile run.
Avondale is south of Goodyear.
Yes. Avondale Boulevard, it's starting to get built up now. There's a Burger King there that at 10:30 at night looked pretty good to me.
I have been to Burger King probably less than 5 times in my life.
That's fair.
We had one at U of A when I was at Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I went there one time and I'm like, I'm not. This is
not necessary.
And I am an addict to fast food. I have been a lot better. I have started to slowly defeat my addiction to fast food, which I know is terrible for you, and it's gross, but it tastes so good. And what has really allowed me to fight off the fast food addiction that I've had is the fact that I feel more hungover the next morning after eating fast food than drinking alcohol. So I have kind of gone away. But you know what I'm never going to do? It's not something I want to waste calories on, Burger King. It's not.
No,
I'd rather do it for other fast food places. Let me tell you, Burger King is not one of them.
No, it was 10:30 at night. I was desperate. I had only been snacking on the little tiny travel-sized bags of chips in the kitchenette all day long, so I was hungry and needed something.
You stayed at the Travelers Inn?
Yeah.
Down in off the 10 and the 202. Is that the one?
I believe so, yes.
$77 by the IHOP?
Yes.
Carl's Jr.?
Yes.
Oh, I got to see this place. Oh, the Taco Bell? Wow, dude.
Yep.
You got chain restaurant galore over there.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You didn't want to stay at the Comfort Inn next door?
I looked for the cheapest price.
The Motel 6 wasn't going to keep the light on for you?
I looked at the cheapest price. This Burger King, I go in.
Where is this Burger King?
It's on Avondale Boulevard.
Oh, dude, you know what you should have done? I needed you to walk across the Filiberto's and tell me how bad their Mexican food was.
Okay.
That's what you needed to do.
There's also, you said that you liked Culver's, right?
I liked Culver's when I tried it in North Dakota when I was there. No, I tried it in Iowa when I was with the with USD. It was across the street. It was pretty solid. It wasn't bad.
There's
like butter burgers or something.
There's a Culver's right at the end of Avondale Boulevard, right where it meets with the 10. I was going to go there last night, but I left the track. I left the track so late that they took me another way. I went the back way. I went through Goodyear and went through all that to get to the 10, not up Avondale. So I was going to have Culver's, but I didn't.
Oh my God, dude, the hotel you stayed at.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's
a high end, like, yeah, it's never great when it says weekly and monthly rates available.
So this Burger King thing took me 40 minutes to get through because their system went down. And after a half hour of sitting in this drive-through line, I am ready to hurt somebody. Guy opens the window. He says, listen, our system's down. I'm sorry. Did you order this? I'm like, yeah, I did. And he just gives it. It's like, bro, here.
Just take it.
Yeah,
wow,
sorry
you got
waited.
free Burger King?
Yeah, so I got a free dinner out
Does
of
the
it.
king know that?
Which made me feel a little bit better. Driving there, stuck behind every single Arizona idiot I could possibly find. I was not happy. Finally get off the freeway to get to this Travelers Inn. And I'm stuck behind a bus who is sitting at a bus stop with two guys who are clearly dealing nefarious substances.
Nice.
My guy, you did not have to wait for them. They were not getting on that bus.
They're not getting on the bus, dude.
I check in. Lobby was nice. I'll give them that. Go around the corner, go up to my room, and I walk into what I paid for. That's literally all I said. I sat on the bed. I could feel collapsed springs in the bed.
Was there movement in the sheets?
No, there was not. Fortunately,
that's good.
Like I said,
what was the shower like?
The shower, I did not take a shower on Sunday morning.
Gross.
Because I thought that bathing in a runoff pond next to a nuclear facility would probably be a little bit healthier for me.
Oh.
Yeah. So that is why I did not shower Saturday night into Sunday.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It was not good.
Well, and you slept in those probably nasty sheets.
Oh no, the sheets were.
They were washed.
Yeah, they were washed. They were nice.
You didn't take a black light in that place, did you?
Thank God I did not.
I'm telling you, that Travelers Inn, man, is a higher end place to probably do some other stuff.
That was probably one of the worst beds I've ever slept on. But after 22 hours of being awake, driving, constant activity, standing for probably 15 of those 20 some odd hours, it was the most comfortable bed I've ever slept in my life.
Oh God.
After all of that. So any bed, you could have put sheets over a piece of plywood and I would have felt comfortable.
In the process of looking at this hotel, it's already gone up in price. It's up to $80 now a night. 3-star hotel, 3.3 review, 3.3 on the reviews.
That was not a 3.3.
Who write? By the way, if you're going to stay at a place like this, who writes a review on the place like this?
I will say,
first review. You ready for this?
Yes.
This place is scary and unsafe.
You know what? I didn't feel like I wasn't being watched at some points.
The woman who was at the desk was very kind, but other than that, our experience was horrifying.
Pretty much the same as mine.
We spoke to a receptionist through a bulletproof glass window.
Well, that's not
every hotel.
No, that's every 2-star hotel at night.
It's a 3-star hotel.
No, it was not a 3-star hotel.
That's
My rear end. That
it's
was
a 3-star hotel.
That is every 2-star hotel at night. Like, come on. There's always a night window.
We spoke to a receptionist through a bulletproof glass window. Quote, the first sign of something off about this place. Another family was demanding a refund for their night as we entered, but we decided to give it a chance. Wrong choice. People are living in the parking lot, which is surrounded by a chain link fence, probably to keep the guests of this hotel away from the others in the area.
There was no chain link fence, at least from what I saw.
Oh, man.
The breakfast burger at Carl's Jr., though, was very good the next morning.
There was a giant puddle of vomit on our way up the stairs.
That's awesome.
Inside our room, it was humid, and it was a very bad smell. The carpet had multiple blood stains. The bedspread also had stains. The bathroom may have been clean, but it was so outdated and covered in mildew and mold, I wouldn't have known.
Yep.
There were clearly a number of criminal activities happening.
Yes.
Drugs, prostitution, etc.
I didn't see
in the rooms around. which was the icing on a very bad, unsafe situation. So we turned right back around and gave our key back. I booked on booking.com and unfortunately had a non-refundable room. The kind woman at the front desk assured me that if I let booking.com know I felt unsafe in the room, I'd probably get the refund.
Yeah, the woman, the girl at night was very nice. Well, they were both really nice. But yeah, other than that, 10 out of 10 would not stay again. But I needed a bed for 5 hours. That's all I needed. And that's all I cared about. And that's what I got.
Review. You want to know when that review was?
Last night.
A week ago. Bro.
Again, but there's part of it also is, what do you expect from a 2-star hotel? Like, come on. What do you expect?
I mean, slightly better than that. I've stayed at the worst hotel I ever stayed at was I've stayed at 2 really bad, actually. All really in the same calendar year. I stayed in 3 really bad hotels. Twice with TCU Club Baseball because we had a budget that was rough.
University Club Baseball.
Yeah. So we stayed in a hotel in New Orleans that was in a part of the New Orleans that was decimated by Katrina, except for that hotel. That was the only building that was still up. And so everything
spared
else.
The hotel?
That hotel was the only one that was still up. And there was a hotel, or what used to be a hotel next door, that was like probably 20 stories tall with all the windows blown out and all the other stuff. It was just a vacant building. And there were figures. I just gonna say figures rolling in and out of that place at all times.
Why did I stay at a 2-star hotel? Because that's what I could afford, dude.
Bro, you know what? You put it in the YouTube chat. You have somebody help you out.
That's what I could afford. And I needed it for 4 to 5 hours. That's all I needed it for.
You were probably better off sleeping in your car.
I probably would not have been.
Stains on, bro. How much of a deep dive shower did you take when you got home? Because everybody's saying they had stains.
Oh yeah,
on their sheets, and you're the only one that said you didn't, and you were so tired you probably didn't even know.
Yeah, I didn't even look, honestly.
Oh my god!
What did I pay? I paid $90.
Oh, it's down to 77 now, man. You're getting ripped off.
Yeah, it was. What is not happening today?
Should clip that. He only needs a hotel for 4 to 5 hours. Phrasing. That was one of the hotels.
Phrasing.
The one in New Orleans was terrible. The other hotel that I stayed at was terrible. Same year was outside of Nacogdoches, Texas, where Stephen F. Austin was. There was definitely prostitution going on in that hotel. 100%.
I would not. I wouldn't have been surprised.
Not even a question.
No,
So you had all of that stuff
for that weekend. No, I could not have. For that particular weekend, no, I could not have.
You probably could have. It just would have been a further drive to the track. This is probably your closest bet in terms of the drive to the track. So that one was also bad. But I think the worst hotel I've ever stayed at was in Odessa. And how about this, Frank? It was like, I think $250 for the night. And we were the only ones staying there that weren't living there. Because, and I found this out and it was the same experience. Like I did not get any sleep. And I was driving out to TCU for school, me and my dad. And I had like all my stuff in the truck. So I had to, like when we would stop, we'd have to load most of the stuff out of the back of the truck and into the hotel room. And so at this place, the bathroom was disgusting. The sheets were disgusting. Everything about the place was disgusting. And my dad calls. He's like, because my mom booked the hotel. And he was like, Dawn, you didn't like, what is this? And she was like, oh, I don't know. It was like $250. It was like the only thing I could get. I mean, everything in Odessa was booked out. The oil companies were buying all the hotels out to basically room the people that work on those rigs and stuff for like months at a time.
Awesome.
And so they would be out like those oil rigger guys. When we got back to the hotel, they were up late partying till about like 3:30 in the morning. And then they'd leave for work at like 4:30, 5. And then they go work the wells all day. And then they'd come back and sleep at like, 2:30 in the afternoon. We stayed there one night, dude. It was the worst experience, like hotel wise, I've ever stayed in. But it sounds like You're not getting a lot of great reviews on this hotel you stayed at.
No,
you know what? I'm glad you made it back
going
alive at this point in time.
And I knew that going in. That's why I wasn't going to complain. Only needed it for a couple hours. I knew I wasn't staying there too much longer. I was happy as a clam.
So was this guy in the review that gave it a 4 out of 5 stars.
It's called an employee.
I can't believe somebody gave it a 2-star rating and said, I've booked this place multiple times. Brother, after the first time, I probably wouldn't think it would be better the second time.
One thing I will say, though, that I found out, unfortunately, too late on the way back. There was a White Castle in Goodyear. I was already on the highway, and I was already past the exit by the time
we got to
I
take
saw
a break.
it.
You like White Castle?
Yes.
I don't mind White Castle. They got one in Nashville. I hit it up one time. I got to hear a little bit more about it. He needed it for 4 hours, like Frank.
Exactly.
The people that gave it the better stars, man, I don't think they're there on a family trip. And they probably had it a little just for a couple of hours. Well, we'll get more from Frank's trip. Dexter in Spring Valley wants to weigh in. We'll get to that when we come back. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. Every one of our guests joins us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. Talk a little bit more of the NFL and the moves that have happened later on here in this hour. But I do want to get to your phone calls. I think Dexter wants to weigh in on the hotel situation for Frank. Frankie Left Turns had a rough hotel experience.
I had a fine experience. It was a rough hotel, though.
Come on.
Experience was fine.
Come on.
I slept and left.
You're living on the edge, dude. First review. I go and find that hotel.
Sometimes
and the first
you can't
review,
help
it
yourself
says,
from falling.
Unsafe. Our experience was horrifying.
I didn't feel unsafe.
Frankie Wrong Turns to the hotel.
I was like,
we'll start calling you Frankie Right Turns.
Yeah. My ears did perk up a little bit when I had the door lock on there, like the flip lock, not the chain, but the actual fixed lock. The part to the door frame wasn't there. The part to the door was, but the part to the door frame wasn't there. So I couldn't even flip the little lock thing.
You know, he had pink eye last week, and I wanted to avoid him. Now I don't even know what he is carrying. You're going to be, was it Agent Zero or Agent Zero of a nasty illness?
2020 is still too close, dude.
I'm just saying.
Still too close. See a doctor immediately. You know what?
Did you get your car washed? You didn't take a shower after this experience because you didn't want to use their disgusting shower. And then you spent Crumb's hosed. He's going to have to bathe. And then you sat in the car the whole way back?
I'm sure Fox set Crumb and the boys up a little bit better.
They were probably staying in Scottsdale.
See a doctor immediately. I am seeing a psychiatrist tomorrow, actually, so that's good. That fits.
He had to up his deal earlier this week after the hotel he stayed at. I mean, geez, we're gonna have to help you out next time. Didn't this happen to Bennett Woods at during a spring training show?
Yes,
they're like, we're paying for our own hotel now.
Yes, their Airbnb that they got was not up to par.
Jocelyn's mad at you like a parent right now because she went to Arizona State and she's like, that area is no bueno, Frank.
Yeah, I know. I would have loved to have stayed right on Avondale Boulevard, but the problem was I didn't know that I was actually going until too late.
That's why you book ahead of time and get a cancellation. And you cancel if you don't get the credential instead of...
But it also doesn't matter because the rates are jacked up for that weekend anyway because, son of a gun, there's an event going on. People might come here.
That's why you got to get it out. You got to get it once that's why people in the SEC, before the schedule comes out, buy an entire month.
Okay, yeah, no,
of hotel
I was
weekends.
not just being cheap. Stop it.
Wilbur's right, though. All areas by Arizona State are no bueno, but that's neither here nor there. Dexter in Spring Valley. What you think about Frank's hotel he stayed at, Dexter? You gonna stay there? You gonna stay there next weekend?
Well, I kind of missed the beginning of it. What website did you use to book this joint?
Hotels.com.
Wow,
oh, really?
Because
when I use it, I've had really good luck with them. The one time I used the other one, another site, and I don't want you guys to get in trouble for dissing it, but I'll put it to you this way. It was the one that William Shatner used to endorse, and Kaylee Cuoco.
Right.
So, okay, if you get my meaning. So when I used them last year because I was going up to LA for 4th of July weekend to attend a major event, Anime Expo, I was trying to find a place that was reasonable driving distance. And it ended up going, oh, okay, Motel 6, normal, no
we'll leave the light
point.
on for you, Dexter.
Exactly. In San Pedro. Yeah, that was a mistake. Because I was expecting a Motel 6 because all the Motel 6s are pretty much generic looking.
Yeah, they're all like the same.
No, dude, this joint was in the ghetto. and it was like, I don't know what it was, but it looked like this building was like a reformed church or something, or like a rehab center or something. But like I said, it was in the ghetto on 4th of July. So you can imagine people are setting off fireworks and fireworks are going off. So you didn't know if those were fireworks or gunshots going off.
Oh my God.
Okay. And there's no parking. You had to park on the street. I had to park like a quarter mile away at night, walk in that neighborhood. So I was like, yeah, for 3 days, for 3 nights. No, I'm telling you, Frank, the room, once you get into the joint though, it's a Motel 6. So it's like, no frills, pretty much like all the other Motel 6s, right? But yet just everything surrounding it, just like your experience, Frank, it was brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal. But hotels.com, I've had really good luck. Like I'm going to Anaheim at the end of the month for WonderCon, booked through them. I got a joint that was like right behind the Anaheim Convention Center for like next to nothing.
Yeah, again,
I could walk to the event.
I didn't look for quality. I looked for
He panic
price.
bot, Dexter. He panic bot. Come on, man. Adam Paul's in the chat saying, my buddy had the same price range. We're just lucky you're okay at this point. You could have stayed with Jocelyn's sister.
Yeah, I know. I'm seeing this now. Jocelyn's trying to hook me up with her sister. That's fun.
$50, dude. Could have got a lot better of a room, probably. Anyway. First click, Frank strikes again.
Oh, no. I scrolled down the list, too.
Oh, my God. I would have immediately been like, no, I'm finding something else.
So, okay. So
I booked an Airbnb like that one time in a sketchy neighborhood. It was not up to par.
So when we go to the race in the fall, you could pick the hotel then. How about that?
No, if I do go to a race.
When we go to the race in the fall, we'll pick the hotel.
I'm only going if it's the same weekend we're playing Chandler. I got high school football, dude. It's hard to maneuver. I'm going to Arizona twice in the fall. But we played Chandler in the beginning of the season, and then TCU Arizona in Tucson. I'll be in Tucson November 7th.
November 7th. That's actually pretty close. No, it's not.
I will be going.
October 18th is when they're in Phoenix again.
October 18th. I wonder where in the world Cathedral Catholic football will be on October 16th.
Or October 14th, they're in Vegas. They're also in Vegas this weekend.
They're in Vegas on October 14th.
They're in Vegas on October 4th.
I was gonna say that's we played De La Salle on the 2nd at home, so probably not. And then you said the
October 18th.
October 18th
is the fall race at Phoenix.
Play at Mission Bay on the 16th. Are you a AAA member, Frank? Look, they're trying to help Frank out here. By the way, just to recap this, I saw this this post literally popped up on Twitter on our feed right here. Dudes named Frank will be like, "Let me be Frank," but they already are. I don't think I've ever heard Frank say, "I'm going to be Frank." Let me be Frank. There you go.
No, I just say, "Let me be me."
Let me be me. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. When we come back, we'll give some grades out for some of these moves for the NFL. And let you know what's going on in free agency before we dive back into baseball in the 1 o'clock hour on the Braden Surprenant Show. Settings over at Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Need a contestant for the Midday Sports Standoff today. We got a trip to Vegas back on the line here. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. I got the email for that.
Yeah, I did not update the thing because I was a little preoccupied.
Yeah, you didn't. We got to get the biggest fan in the next segment, big dog. Guys having nightmares at the hotel I stayed at.
I have been feverishly working this entire time to the point I thought we were going into the noon hour, not coming out of it.
Man. We have a trip to Vegas that you can qualify to win. If you take me down in sports trivia, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I'm pretty sure it's the Fontainebleau. So once Frank updates the liner sheet, even though it's 12:40, we'll be able to get you a contestant. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get somebody squared up for the standoff. Frank got a fever from the hotel. He might have. Now, in the process when Frank does all this, I do want to say, now it's being reported, I don't know for sure, but it's being reported from multiple outlets that the University of San Diego has found their new basketball coach. San Diego will hire Iowa State assistant J.R. Blunt as its next head coach. Sources have told On3. Sources have told a lot of different areas. Mark Ziegler, 10 minutes ago, puts out USD hires J.R. Blunt from Iowa State. So USD has a brand new basketball coach. It is being reported. J.R. Blunt, we just read up a little bit on him. He is an up-and-coming coach. This fits very much so like the Kimya Massey hire of Blanche Alverson, up-and-coming coach in women's basketball with a good program at Georgia Tech. J.R. Blunt comes from Iowa State. Over the last 4 or 5 years at Iowa State, they have been a predominant team in the NCAA tournament, a reoccurring team in the NCAA tournament. So we'll see. Now, the other report that Mark Ziegler had was over the weekend that they expect to spend $2 to $4 million on a roster, which is interesting to see for the University of San Diego. How much does San Diego State spend on their roster, according to this article, Frank? Aztecs spent $2.7 million on a roster, according to the article. So, interesting to see what's going on over there in Linda Vista. We'll have you updated on that later on. We'll let you know when it becomes official. We'll try to get JR on with our show at some point once he gets announced as the new head coach officially for the University of San Diego. So that is some of the things that have happened throughout the day. We also have confirmation, Frank, that the Pool D in the WBC has officially been clinched by both the Dominican and Venezuela due to run differential and all that fun stuff. So with Venezuela, with the Dominican beating Israel by the amount of runs that they did, the Dominican Republic and Venezuela are both advancing out of Pool D. It'll just be dependent on who gets the 1 and who gets the 2 in Pool D. In Pool B, Pool B and Pool A are the only ones that do not have anybody clinched yet. As Pool C is done with Japan and Korea advancing, Japan will play Czechia tomorrow. That's just kind of for fun. And then Dominican has one more game left against Venezuela. That will be a game that will be for 1 or the 2 seed coming out of Pool D in the WBC. Venezuela does have another game in there. They got to play Nicaragua later on, and then they will play the Dominicans. So, but they already are going to advance in that particular pool. Big one today at 4:00. Puerto Rico and Cuba will be battling it out for that top spot in Pool A. The winner of that game will probably clinch a spot into the next round. And then in Pool B tonight in Houston, big game between USA and Mexico. A win for either team will probably get them advanced. I'm pretty sure probably advanced in the bracket. So we'll see how that plays out. That's going to be at 5 later on tonight. So a lot to get to still. We're going to get to our biggest fan of the 1:00 hour. We'll talk more about these NFL free agent signings. We'll dive back into baseball in the 1:00 hour as well. But as we mentioned before, we have a new prize for a midday sports standoff. If you want to join us today, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. If you take me down in sports trivia, you'd be qualified for a chance to win our grand prize, a 2-night stay at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, and a $150 resort card or resort credit. March is here, and Fontainebleau, Las Vegas is the place to catch every game. High-energy watch parties with expansive screens, great food and drinks, exclusive room rates, plus the pools and day club are open. Book your stay today at FontainebleauLasVegas.com now. Let's get to today's Midday Sports Standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, he's no good. Are you kidding me, Mr.
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frankie, we got playing today.
We have Hector in San Diego playing today. Hector, how you doing today, bud?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good, good. All right. So next segment, the next hour, we're going to be talking a lot about San Diego State and how they finished second in the Mountain West this year. But today's question is, who have been the Mountain West men's basketball regular season champions in the last 20 years? So from 2006 till this past weekend, who have been the Mountain West men's college basketball regular season champions? There are 7 answers available here. And Hector, you have the first guess.
San Diego State?
San Diego State has won it 9 times in the last 20 years.
BYU.
BYU has won it 4 times in the last 20 years. Hector.
UNLV?
Wow.
UNLV has not won the men's college basketball Mountain West regular season championship in the last 20 years.
That's what a how the mighty have fallen from the days of old. Let's go with Utah State.
Utah State, counting yesterday, have won it 3 times now. Hector.
Utah State. Did they play Fresno? I forgot the basketball team. Who did they play Fresno?
No, Fresno State has not won. That's 2 strikes, Hector.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
They're only going to the Pac-12 because of football. They suck in basketball. New Mexico.
New Mexico has won it the second most amount of times. They have won it 5 times. Hector, you need to get this one.
New Mexico, Arizona. Who did they play in Arizona? I don't know the name of it. I don't know. I have no clue. I'm sorry.
All right. Unfortunately, that is strike number 3 then, Hector. Braden, would you like to round it off?
Boise State.
Boise State has won twice, so we're looking for 4 and 7.
2 more teams that have won the Mountain West. Who's been good at the Mountain West? It's not San Jose. They suck, right?
Nope.
Okay. Knock them off the list. What about Nevada Reno? They won?
Nevada has won 3.
Interesting.
And I will give you a hint on this last one. They are no longer in the Mountain West.
Oh, one of those teams. It's not TCU. They're awful in basketball. The only other team would be Utah. Did Utah win it a couple times? I thought they won the first ever tournament or
Utah
something.
won the regular season championship once in the last 20 years. However,
06?
no, they won it in 07, I think it was, but they had also won it in 05 and 04. So that would have been outside the last 20 years. So they've won it once. So the Mountain West regular season winners over the last 20 years: San Diego State 9 times, New Mexico 5, BYU 4, Nevada 3, Utah State 3, Boise State 2, Utah 1.
How about that? It's a solid question. We've been on a streak here. We've been on a winning streak.
Like I said, it's light switch flipped.
You got a talking to, and then You know what's great? We don't have to, Adam doesn't come in here anymore after the sports sign. And you're not getting trolled by Juan and Go Aztecs anymore in the chat.
I know.
That's great news. Great news. We're about to start Padres baseball. The Padre game's at 1 o'clock now. Throwing me off. It's throwing me off. What? You didn't notice the fact that when you drove out there, you lost an hour, then when you came back, you didn't get anything back?
Yep.
Because Arizona doesn't change for daylight savings. Has it affected you at all?
Oh, that's a free hour off my life. No.
It hasn't affected me at all either.
No, it also helped that
my friend this morning was like, "Oh, it's just I'm so sleepy because of the time change." I'm like, I haven't even noticed, aside from the fact that yesterday at 6:30 the sun was up.
Yeah, it didn't affect me. I think mainly because I slept in the time change already the night before, so it didn't really mess with me. And I was so wiped out, I could have fallen asleep at any time.
I mean, I'm tired just in general right now, but it's not because of the time change. It's nice being well, here's the other thing too. You get the time change right now, and by the way, you have summer weather for the next week and a half. I looked at the weather report today, and it's the next 10 days are going to be the next 3 days will be a little bit chillier, and there might be a little bit of precipitation in certain parts of the county, but you're looking at Thursday on to next week, high of 85, 86, 80, 76, 78, 80, 78 into St. Patrick's Day. And the sun's out longer.
He draws the foul.
It's summer now. You didn't realize it's summertime already?
It's not summer now. It's
summer now.
It's officially still winter.
And then you're going to get April showers and May gray. That's what you're going to get.
It's officially still winter.
Puxatawny Phil lied to you, man. He lied to you. What do you do? What do you do to groundhogs that lie to you, Frank?
Stupid rodent.
That's right. He didn't see nothing. He said he saw his shadow. You should have listened to the Italian groundhog who didn't see nothing. You probably would have been prepared.
He draws the foul.
Did you like I said nothing?
That's another one.
That's awesome. Racking it up. Fallon, my friend, by the way, we went to dinner with the family for all the birthdays, right? She got booed after her order.
Yes.
She got booed. We went to Casa de Pico, man, and everybody's got a nice little Mexican plate, whatever. My brother, and you've met Matt before.
Yes, I have.
He'll fly it out. He goes, "Oh, what did you get?" And she goes, "I got the crunchy shrimp tacos." And he was like, "Who invited you?" When the plates came out and the guys bring out the food, crunchy shrimp tacos, everybody just started booing. But she took it like a champ. She embraced it. She embraced the booing, which is good for her. That's a nice step for her, I think. Embrace the booing. You got to have some thick skin around the Surprenants.
It's a lot easier for one person to change a little bit than to have a collection of people.
Well,
change.
Today I woke up before my workout, felt bloated from all the food that I've consumed the last week, which I need to effectively change this week. And I didn't feel that great this morning. And you know what she said? I feel great having my shrimp tacos from yesterday. I might be the only one that feels good right now. So she might have gotten the last laugh on that. Shrimp tacos is a foul, dude. I mean, that's like a midweek meal. It's a Sunday meal, Frank.
Well, it's good. She had it on Sunday.
No, Sunday meal, you have what I had. Weekday meal, you have the shrimp and the cilantro rice and the black beans. The
you
healthy
just said
stuff.
it's a Sunday meal.
No, I'm saying that's not a Sunday meal. I'm saying we had a Sunday meal. You get something that's Sunday meal related. We'll let you know what's going on at the Padres. Randy Vasquez about to tell the rubber. Padre game's about to get started. Plus, some more news on the Pods. 1:00 only means one thing right now. Aside from the fact that we're broadcasting live for the Bill House Studios, 1:00, you know what that means, Frank? You know what that means.
It means we still know how.
We still know how. And it means that we got an updated biggest fan.
That we do.
Congratulations to today's biggest fan. Today's biggest fan, Julie Johnston in Lakeside. Julie Johnston in Lakeside. Give us a call within the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey suite at a Padres game with all the fan staff later this season, catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 97throughthefansd.com/biggest fan. Julie Johnston in Lakeside. 10 minutes, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. And the fake name generator returns. You know what? Juan applauds your question today. I love that. Juan's the first one to get on you, but you know what? He seems to be the guy that's the first guy to congratulate you on the high marks.
Give the devil his due. When
That's
it's
right.
appropriate. And that's all you can ask for.
100%. All right, let's get you set up for today's game for the Padres. Again, it starts at 1:10 today. Now all the games are on our time because Arizona doesn't spring forward, nor do they fall back. They stay the same the entire time throughout the entire year. So now the games are going to be starting at 1 o'clock, leading into opening day for most of the games that are on during the day. Randy Vasquez getting the start today. Jackson Merrill bats lead off and playing center field. Jake Cronenworth bats second, plays second. Nick Castellanos in the 3 spot, plays right field. Gavin Sheets plays first base and is the cleanup hitter today. Ty France batting 5th, playing 3rd. Bryce Johnson plays left field. He bats 6th. Nick Solak is the DH. He bats 7th. Luis Campusano's batting 8th and catching. Mason McCoy bats 9th and plays shortstop today for the Padres, who have Randy Vasquez on the hill. They are in Peoria taking on the Texas Rangers. Should be a good one, and we'll keep you updated in the next hour or so how the boys are doing out there in Peoria, Arizona. Again, World Baseball Classic stuff for you. We already know based on today's win for the Dominican Republic, which, by the way, the Padres played really well in this game against Israel. Fernando Tatis Jr. hit a grand slam in the game. Manny got on base a handful of times and scored. Both Fernando and Manny are having great WBC campaigns already, as their team is 3-0. The Dominican is. They are in the front spot in Pool D, but with the win today and by the amount of runs that they won by, they have clinched a spot into the next round, as well as Venezuela. So both of those two countries will be advancing, just like Japan and Korea coming out of Pool C. Still a lot to play for in Pool A with Puerto Rico, Cuba, Canada, and Colombia. And same thing in Pool B with Mexico, Italy, USA, all competing for the top 2 spots. Mexico and the United States will play tonight at 5 o'clock. A game to be looking out for. And then Puerto Rico and Cuba is going to play at 4 coming up after our show. That's a big one in Pool A in the WBC. Got a lot of NFL stuff that we want to talk about as well here, as we have had a lot of moves, a lot of moves in the National Football League today. We try to keep up with a lot of them throughout the afternoon, but here's some of the moves that have been made today that I think are worth noting. One of them being Mike Evans, now a San Francisco 49er. That's an interesting move for the Niners, bringing in a guy that has, he's been a little banged up. We'll see how he does. It's a 3-year deal. Not overall that bad of a move for the Niners. The Dolphins signed Malik Willis. And the thing with the Dolphins are spending $99 million in dead cap money to have Tua Tagovailoa play against them, and then they brought in Malik Willis for $62 million. That is a lot of money for Malik Willis to be their starting quarterback. It really is. Maybe he figured it out in the 3 games he started in Green Bay, but he wasn't that great in Tennessee. He did a fine job filling in. But is that guy good? I mean, they spent a lot of money for him to be a backup. I tell you that. But that's a lot of money spent to have Tua play for somebody else. I thought that was an interesting move today. Kenneth Walker III signing in Kansas City. I like that move for the Chiefs. That is a place that the last couple of years have not really had too much of a running game to speak of. Isaiah Pacheco had some decent seasons. Obviously, he has battled injuries. Kareem Hunt is just, he battled some injuries and was okay with Kansas City. It's been very up and down very up and down production out of the running game in KC. They needed that to get improved going into this season. They do with Kenneth Walker III. Travis Etienne Jr., no longer a member of the Jags. He signs a free agent deal with the Saints. That's a big pickup for New Orleans. In my opinion, I think it's a nice little move for them. They also picked up some linemen during this particular time. That's a big area of concern for the Saints, who were just atrocious at the beginning of the year. And then they started to really turn things around. At the end of last season. So that's a good step in the right direction. Other major signings for you in the National Football League: Carolina Panthers signed defensive end Jalen Phillips. That's a 4-year, $120 million deal. Panthers badly needed the pass rush help, and they ranked 24th in pass rush win rate and 32nd in run stop win rate. And what Phillips brings: 92nd percentile in pressure rate, 55th percentile in pass rush win rate. Injuries very early in his career. He has dealt with a torn Achilles. He has dealt with a partial ACL tear. So that's going to be a question mark for Carolina. But overall takeaway, Panthers are paying about $30 million a year for some potential in the D-line spot. And, he's been productive, but he's never been a double-digit sack guy. So it's a big risk for Carolina in this particular signing of Jalen Phillips, but that's an interesting one. Let's go back to Kenneth Walker III. He signs a 3-year deal, $43 million to go to Kansas City. Super Bowl MVP, explosive runner, 33 runs of 10-plus yards, which is 6th best in the NFL. Obviously, there are some concerns about Kenneth Walker III. Very limited pass-catching role for a team that does throw the ball a lot with Patrick Mahomes. Only 20% snap rate on 3rd and long, and the running back is considered one of the least valuable positions in the National Football League. But the Chiefs are trying to jumpstart an offense that struggled despite having Patrick Mahomes, trying to upgrade the run game. I think it's a little bit better than the C+ grade that ESPN handed out for Kenneth Walker III. The one that I find interesting is the Alec Pierce signing. Coltree signed Alec Pierce. 4 years, $160 million. I feel that's a lot for a guy he's a deep threat. That's great, but there are some risks involved with bringing back Alec Pierce. They're spending a lot of money for a number 2, number 3 receiver, and not a number 1 after they traded Michael Pittman to Pittsburgh today as well. He did have a lot better of a season last year. 2.2 yards per route run, elite deep threat metrics, 100th percentile air yards per target. He makes a lot of difficult downfield catches, but he relies heavily on contested catches, which can fluctuate year to year. Colts paid big money for a vertical weapon who broke out last season. I just don't know if that's going to be able to continue. I don't think it's a for sure thing. It's a major risk, in my opinion, on the Alec Pierce signing. And it's just for the amount of money that they spent on Alec Pierce. You saw some major trades happen this morning. Dallas Cowboys have traded for edge rush Rashawn Gary. It cost him a 2027 4th-round pick. I don't really like this move for Dallas. This is a great move for Green Bay. This is a great move for Green Bay. You get a draft pick out of a guy that you probably were going to cut at some point during the offseason. And since the ACL injury, and maybe he just needs to find a new home, maybe just being in Dallas is going to be better, for Rashawn Gary. But since he got the ACL injury, he has not been nearly as productive on the D-line as he was before he got the injury. 8% in pass rush win rate, 18th percentile in the National Football League, and 9% pressure rate for a guy that was a lot better before this. And here's the deal. He's going to cost him $19.5 million this season. So the Cowboys give up a draft pick to pay a declining player on a defense that wasn't very good last year. And the Packers might have cut him anyway, and they get a draft pick back. It's a huge win for Green Bay. I don't think it's that big of a win for the Dallas Cowboys in terms of what they gave up for what the production's going to be in Big D. Jets acquired Minkah Fitzpatrick. They trade for the safety from with Miami. It cost them a 7th-round pick. I think it's a pretty decent move for the Jets. Again, it goes along the lines of the Dolphins and what they've been doing. Fitzpatrick moved closer to the line in Miami. He played more of a guy in the box. His weakness, of course, third percentile in run stop win rate. So, not as great at stopping the run as a safety in the box that Miami had. But the big question is, why are the rebuilding Jets acquiring a 29-year-old veteran? I think that's an interesting question for New York. I mean, this is a trade that made a lot of sense when you had Robert Saleh as your head coach and your defense was one of the best in the NFL. And that was like the big deal. That was the big deal in terms of wins and in terms of like, this is how we compete. But Minkah Fitzpatrick, like at this spot, I don't know.
I have an answer.
Yeah.
It's the Jets.
It's the Jets.
That's all any questionable decision from the New York Jets comes down to. It's the Jets. That's literally it.
I think you could start talking about that with the Cowboys. Don't tell Cowboys fans that, but the Cowboys, man, I mean, they just continue to make head-scratching moves day in and day out. Day in and day out. It's a good player. Minkah Fitzpatrick's a good player. It's an interesting fit and very questionable timeline fit for the Jets. Ravens made the biggest move, and it wasn't today, but it was over the weekend. They traded for edge rusher Max Crosby. Cost them 2 first-round picks. ESPN.com gave the Ravens a C, gave the Raiders an A. I mean, if you're the Raiders, you got 2 first-round picks out of Max Crosby. That's huge, but it's not getting the picks. It's what you do with the picks. Now, what Tom Brady and then who knows who's running that team over there in Las Vegas, 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby is huge. They already burned that bridge when they said he was injured when he wasn't, and he was out there playing basketball in his house and all that stuff. I mean, that relationship was severed. You knew he was getting traded. 2 first-round picks is crazy for Baltimore. But Max Crosby's a great player. He's one of the best defensive linemen in the league, best edge rushers in the league, one of. Double-digit sacks 3 of the last 4 seasons, elite run defender, plays 94% of defensive snaps for the Raiders. And why the Ravens did it? Well, they're winning now with Lamar Jackson. They're definitely winning now with Lamar Jackson. And I really think they got to double down on letting John Harbaugh go and not keeping John Harbaugh. So they went out, they got an edge rusher, Max Crosby, accomplished what they needed. I think they gave up a lot for this. I mean, I know he's one of the best edge rushers in the National Football League, but 2 first-round picks? I mean, that is a massive long-term value in giving up the 2 first-round picks, unless they think, well, it's the Raiders. They're not going to do anything important with it anyway. In history, Frank, these are moves that often favor the team getting the picks more than it does the veteran in this particular deal. So,
yes,
but it's the Raiders. Can the Raiders do something with these picks?
Jets of the West.
They've racked up some first-round picks here. They can really rebuild and replenish this team if they do it properly. I'm curious to see if they do. If they don't, then it's going to be a win for the Ravens. But 2 first-round picks is a major gamble for defensive linemen. And Max Crosby, he's great. Like, the Ravens picking him up is awesome. But 2 first-round picks, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Ravens get better immediately. They sacrifice long-term roster building. I mean, they show that they are right there. We're in competitive mode. We got to try to make a run for the Super Bowl with Lamar. Raiders jumpstart the rebuild. I think it's a big win for the Raiders. Now, you look at the DJ Moore trade. I said this when it happened. I don't like this move for Buffalo. I really don't. ESPN also doesn't like it for Buffalo. They gave the Bills a D and the Bears an A for the DJ Moore for a 2nd-round pick. Are you kidding me? Buffalo, what are we doing? More production decline out of DJ Moore. I heard Gwen and Chris talking about this, and Chris was like, DJ Moore, you probably got to draft him in fantasy. The hell I am. But I can't be making roster decisions based on fantasy football. That's moronic. But I will say this. His production has gone down. 2023, 2.5 yards per route run. 2025, 1.3 yards per route run. He is coming off of his worst statistical year in his career from last year. You could sit there and blame the fact that they had other receivers there in Chicago that might have taken the ball, but you got guys like Roma Dunze. over there in Chicago. I mean, they were giving the ball to everybody but DJ Moore. I know. I had him in fantasy. The guy would never get. I would ask, where's DJ Moore? This guy even on this team? Bears get a second-round pick for him. Maybe he will find a new lease on life in Buffalo, but DJ Moore is not a number one receiver. That guy's like a number two at best at this point in his career. He's going to be 29 this season. And his contract is $90 million over 4 years with significant guarantees. Bills paid massive draft capital and took on a large contract for a declining receiver. Where have I heard this before with Buffalo? Bears clear cap space and get an opportunity now to build around a young quarterback, a young offensive line, and a young receiving core, and they just picked up another great draft pick in this year's draft. Bills, I know you don't have any weapons, but bringing in a guy like DJ Moore at this point, no thanks. No thanks. You got to do better than that. Last one we're going to talk about, we're going to get to break. Rams trade for Trent McDuffie, cornerback. Cost them a first-round pick and multiple picks. They got him from Kansas City. ESPN.com gives Kansas City an A-, give the Rams a C+. McDuffie is one of the best corners in the NFL. He's allowed 0.9 yards per coverage snap in career. Only 25 years old. Patrick Mahomes is upset about it on social media when this trade happened. But the concern is the Rams need to give him a massive extension soon to make it make sense. Because you're giving up a first-round pick plus others for the corner. Now, here's the thing with the Rams. The Rams have done this with Sean McVay. They trade draft picks. I mean, they trade draft picks like crazy. So I'm not overly shocked by that. But the big takeaway from this is the Rams improve immediately during Matthew Stafford's final championship window, and the Chiefs get younger and cheaper. So, Chiefs, I think it's a pretty good move because you would have to pay this guy. Again, this is the conversation you have. This is what's with salary cap. They've paid their guys, which means they're not going to be able to pay for everybody, which they got to give up somebody eventually. And so they did it with Trent McDuffie. He's not getting a contract extension with Kansas City. He might get it with the Rams. If the Rams give McDuffie a contract extension, I think they get a better grade for this trade because he's young at 25 years old, and he's probably the best corner in the NFL, not one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. From that particular standpoint, you like it. And it sounds like he did. He got a 4-year, 124. So he's already on a long-term deal, which makes this even better for the Rams. That's your update on the National Football League, all the moves that have happened today. When we come back, we'll talk a little Aztec basketball and Padre games underway. We'll keep you updated on what's going on with Randy Vasquez in another spring training start when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, standing as number Sports Station 97 through the Fan. You know, Frank's got a big ban on the four-letter network in this place because he is watching a race that he was physically at over again.
It was on after the WBC ended.
Is that what it was?
That was why. Yes.
Is that why?
Yes, because the Colombia-Panama game was on FS2, and the race is on FS2.
You know, Colombia almost blew that game. Did you see that?
Yes, they did.
They had a no-hitter through what, 6? 5.5?
Yes, through 5. Yeah, 5.5.
Five until Frank said something about it. That's what they had.
You said no-hitter first.
No, you brought up. You're like, speaking of,
I brought
they have a
attention
no-hitter. You said it. I didn't say anything about the. You said it first.
Okay,
I was going to get to that, and you beat me to the punch.
Okay,
you're like, and by the way, Colombia's no-hitting Panama.
We'll go back to the tape.
You brought up the no-hitter before I said anything. I was going to get there. You're like, well, yeah, they're really struggling. They got a no-hit. They're getting no-hit right now, and then immediately, knock. You cursed them. You cursed them by picking them, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
You benefited Korea by picking them.
Yeah, I was going to say,
by giving up the Korea thing, you cursed Panama because you weren't going to have the perfect bracket on the WBC challenge.
Man.
Hey, you know what? You had to pick one or the other. Korea is like, we love Frank. Panama's like, don't ever let this guy in this country. You try to take a cruise to the Panama Canal, they're going to stop the cruise ship and go, Frank Marchese's on this thing. He cost us.
Darn.
Let's update you on the baseball game in Peoria. Padres and Rangers. Randy Vasquez getting another start. Is this his third or fourth? Is this his third outing?
I think his third.
Third outing.
At least that I can remember.
Frank is tapping his head for the ABS replay. I love when guys do that in the WBC because there's no ABS in the WBC. Brandon Nimmo walked. Jock Peterson popped up. Andrew McCutchen lined out. And then the Padres challenged a potential walk to Brandon Nimmo. And it was a ball. Call was confirmed. So Nimmo then walked. And then Haggerty lined out, runners on first and second and 2 outs to end the inning. Merrill reached on an error. Jake Cronenworth is grounded out. Nick Castellanos is now flown out. And there's 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning with Merrill at third base for Gavin Sheets. You're all caught up on the Padres game today. Randy Vasquez, man, has he not been, with all the competitions going on, he has been
very,
such
very
a bright
good.
spot.
Yes, 100%.
To this spring training. Not to say that there's a lot of downsides to spring training this year, but Randy Vasquez is having himself a really good spring. And this is why you this is why you traded for this guy. It's why you wanted this guy in the Juan Soto deal. Future potential starting pitcher for the Padres. And his velo's up high right now.
Mm-hmm.
Velo's up high. It's great. It's great to see. In terms of today, to just see kind of where his velocity is at, he's at, his fastball's at 96. His sinker was at 96. Fastball's at 96 on his first batter to Nimmo. Fastball at 96 against Jock Peterson. Got up to 96 again to Andrew McCutchen. So starting to build up a little bit, which is great to see. At 97 on his fastball to Carter. And then against Sam Haggerty, 96 on the fastball on the other ball that was in play. So not bad start for Randy Vasquez. Gavin Sheets grounded out to end the inning. So that's it for Gavin Sheets and the Padres in the top half of the first. I'm curious to see, like, Johnny Brito is going to be coming back from injury. But if Johnny Brito comes back, as Go Aztec says, healthy and up to this level, that Juan Soto trade looks better and better by the day. It really does. Both of them do, to be honest with you. Now, hopefully Michael King can come back to what he was before some of these injuries, which I think he will. But threw a lot of pitches in 2024. And we'll see how he does in 2026 after a couple of injuries last year. So that's the update on the baseball game. We do want to dive more into Aztec basketball we're going to get to in a second, but just kind of to recap some of the stuff from earlier today. We talked about the coaching staff for the Padres. And I'm going to be honest with you, look at some of these at-bats that the Padres are putting together. they're seeing pitches. They're seeing a lot of pitches, and they're working counts. I mean, if you just look at the first inning of this spring training game, everybody saw at least 5 pitches with the exception of Nick Castellanos, who ended up flying out in the second pitch he saw, which was a slider on the outside part of the plate. Jackson Merrill led off the game, saw 6 pitches. Jake Cronenworth up second, saw 8 pitches. Gavin Sheets in the first inning saw at least 5 pitches. This team is putting together a lot of quality at-bats. They're not chasing too far out of the zone. And a lot of the at-bats that these guys have had, in which they have put up some pretty good numbers, they have put together good at-bats. I mean, even like Gavin Sheets, Derry Bonds hitting the bomb yesterday, he was seeing a lot of pitches in that at-bat. He was grinding that at-bat out. These are the things that add the extra mile to an offense that's already talented. And the way Fernando's swinging the bat right now in the WBC, the way Manny Machado's swinging the bat right now in the WBC, you got to be very optimistic about this offense for the Padres and how they've looked. I mean, last week they were racking up runs in multiple games. And yeah, I get competition's part of it, who they're going against. You know, when they play at home, they're going against a way lesser of a lineup than when they're on the road. But you went through it again, and we went through it during the first hour. Jackson Merrill, 333 average with an 1135 OPS this spring. Jake Cronenworth, after starting 1 for 8 on the season, in spring training, he is up to 7 for 11 with 2 walks, and he has raised his average up to 364 on the spring. Nick Castellanos has a 464 on base percentage coming into today. Jose Miranda in 27 at-bats is hitting 370. Ty France is sitting at 381 in camp as he attempts to make this team after signing a minor league contract. Miguel Andujar has been great, especially against lefties, but just in general, he's got a 381, 519, 714 slash line while he plays multiple defensive positions. I mean, these are all the guys you want to see have good at-bats and have production early in the spring. You can't really complain about the way that these guys have been playing so far. And that's not even talking about, you know, some of the guys that are on this team that are for sure going to play, like a Freddie Fermin, who's been on a tear. Freddie Fermin's been on a tear as well. I mean, he had another big day over the weekend. So it's been great. It's been very encouraging to see this team play, to see a lot of the guys that are battling for spots compete with each other, to see a lot of the guys that know they're on the team compete for extra playing time, and to see a lot of the stars now really start to settle in now in spring and hopefully getting locked in for the regular season. And we talked about the young coaching staff to start the show. I think a lot of it has to do with the approach and this new modern look at baseball that the Padres haven't had the last couple of years. And Fernando mentioned it in this particular article about how it's a more modern version of the game. I think that resonates well with a lot of the players, and they've said that this coaching staff is very relatable to them, and I think that's going to go a long way. Can the Aztecs go a long way? Well, we know who they're playing, and we know what happened over the weekend. Early preview of the Aztecs, plus San Diego FC was in action over the weekend too. How did the other two teams in San Diego do, and what's to come? We'll explain when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's Urban Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios, we know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's number one sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Want to mention that we are here each and every day, as you already know. But we are posting a lot of videos on social media. We got tons of stuff to get to that we never have time to get to on the show, and we post extra content on the website, on youtube.com at @B_SURP. We're going to try to put more and more content on there as we can, talking about a lot of different things in the college sports world. We're talking about things that are more than just Padres, San Diego FC, NHL, NBA. I mean, tons of stuff that we post on there. So if you haven't done so already, give us a follow at @B_SURP on YouTube. Subscribe to our page. We really appreciate that. We're going to have some interesting. We're going to talk a little bit about the USD and the reports of a potentially a new coach in a hiring. It's been reported that J.R. Blunt has been named the new head coach at USD. USD has not confirmed that yet, nor have they announced it, but a lot of reports out there. John Rothstein had it, as well as a lot of big reports in college basketball reporting that. So interesting to see what we got going on in college athletics. We're going to talk more about the NFL and all the free agent signings that have happened. And I got to look now what happened with this live look at the NFL signings. But the Falcons are going to sign Tua Tagovailoa to a 1-year deal. Did you see that, Frank?
Yeah, it just popped up on my phone right now.
The Falcons are going to have 2 left-handed quarterbacks, Tua Tagovailoa and Michael Penix, heading into the 2026 season. Wow, what a sign again for Atlanta. Oh, my God. Is this one of those situations where it's like, well, we don't have to pay him because he's getting the money in the cap hit?
I guess. I have no idea.
I do need to hear Adam's reaction to that. He can't be thrilled about that as a Falcons fan. He can't. There's no way. Am I missing something? That's not a great move. That's a terrible move.
That's not.
I wonder how much money they're going to give him to be. Why would you? Are you in on Michael Penix or are you not in on Michael Penix? I don't know. What are we doing here?
He doesn't have to move too far. Give him that.
From Miami to Atlanta?
Yeah, that's not too far a jaunt.
Wow. I can't believe that. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, so that worked out so well for Atlanta last time with Kirk Cousins. They signed Kirk Cousins and they drafted Michael Penix. Do you think they're going to draft a quarterback in the first round?
Go for it.
They might as well. He better be a lefty, too. Maybe they got to get a right-handed quarterback to, fill out the rotation. Lefty-lefty matchup. Tua to the Atlanta Falcons is crazy.
Not what I was expecting to see today.
No. Absolutely not. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. I want to mention that all of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It's better. Let's talk about the Aztecs, San Diego College hoops in general, because we have some reports, obviously, about USD potentially hiring a new head coach as well. But let's talk about the Aztecs for a second. Now, they played on Friday against UNLV, another instant classic at Viejas Arena. Aztecs men's basketball team defeated UNLV, who just came off of a huge win against Utah State. So that's a big win for the Aztecs. Again, it didn't really matter except for seeding, and it opened up the opportunity to potentially tie for a Mountain West championship in the regular season. But with New Mexico losing to Utah State, San Diego State gets the 2 seed instead, and they get ready for conference tournament play in coming up later this week. What do they play? Thursday? Is that what the deal is?
I believe so.
I'm trying to look it up, and
sure.
It's like I searched it and do you mean Mountain West football championships?
Yes.
No, that's not what I mean
exactly
right now. Google. All right, so they got the 2 seed. They're going to play it. You know what? The 2 seed's not bad in terms of like when you play, because now you don't have to do the back-to-back late night games. Now you get the 6 o'clock, and then you get the 9 o'clock. The 9 o'clock sucks.
Yeah, it's gonna be Thursday. Thursday at 6 on CBS Sports Network.
Correct. So the Aztecs will play the winner of Colorado State, Fresno State, which I would imagine is going to be Colorado State because Fresno's terrible. But you never know. Maybe Fresno wins.
This is why you play the game.
That's right. That's why you play the game. That's a winnable game for San Diego State. And then they got New Mexico, probably. I mean, you never know. Boise could upset New Mexico in this tournament. I'd be shocked if they're playing San Jose State there in the semifinals on Friday. But, you know, crazy what happens. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, babe. And the championship would be on Saturday at 3 o'clock. So they got to win 3 games to go to the NCAA tournament. That's where we're at with the Aztecs. But anyway, the game on Friday had 12 ties, 11 lead changes. They combined for 175 points, most in a regulation in the rivalry in 40 years. It was the final regular season meeting as Mountain West founding members after 27 seasons, although the teams will possibly meet in the conference tournament and play a non-conference series beginning next season. I don't think they are going to face each other in the tournament at all. When that was written, there was a potential chance that the running Rebels could get the 7 seed in the bracket. They got the 8, so they're on the complete opposite side of the bracket, and UNLV is going to have to run through Utah State and Grand Canyon / Nevada to potentially play San Diego State. And I don't think they're going to. And they haven't really been good at their home arena in this tournament in the last couple of years. In terms of like the performances, BJ Davis had a big night on Friday at 30 points, career high, hit critical shots late, sealed the game with the defensive strip in the final seconds. He only had 35 total points in his previous 5 games combined. It was great to see him drop 30 against UNLV on Friday. And he was going against Dre Gibbs Lawhorn. And Dre had 32. He's the Mountain West leading scorer. He was averaging nearly 30 points per game over the last month and is widely considered the favorite for Conference Player of the Year. It was like BJ Davis and Dre Gibbs Lawhorn were basically playing one-on-one on Friday night. The key moment of the game, though, was with seconds left and UNLV trailing by 3. Gibbs Lawhorn attempted a step back 3, and BJ Davis stripped the ball cleanly to seal the deal and get the dub. Aztecs secured their 20th win of the season, the 20th win of the season that's the 20th time in the last 21 years the program has reached at least 20 wins. And even if for a down year, they're still winning 20 games. Now, Mountain West tournament situation, conference race ended in strange fashion. Utah State won the regular season title outright, pushing San Diego State to the number 2 seed for the conference tournament. The race highlighted the extreme parity in the conference. Top teams entering the tournament, Utah State, San Diego State, New Mexico, and Grand Canyon. But according to Brian Dutcher, 8 or 9 teams can win the conference tournament. I mean, there's a lot of parity definitely in the Mountain West. But parity might actually hurt the Mountain West in NCAA tournament selection because teams keep beating each other and fewer programs build strong resumes for at-large bids. So for the Aztecs, again, it's going to be win and you're in. So they're going to have to win 3 games here in the next on Thursday, Friday, Saturday to be able to get into the NCAA tournament. I think if they make it to the championship game, they are like just close to making it. But the fact that New Mexico is not a team that's in right now, nor San Diego State, I mean, it's going to be tough for the Mountain West Conference to get 2 teams in the NCAA tournament. It really is. But you had a lot of awards get issued over the weekend, again, based on some of the award predictions. But overall for the Aztecs, it comes down to those 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And hopefully they don't do anything like the women's team did. Women's team went to Vegas and they got upset by 9th seeded Air Force in the first game of the Mountain West tournament, which is brutal. And now they're like a bubble team too when it comes to making the NCAA tournament. I mean, I haven't looked at the women's basketball bracketology a lot, but I hope that's the case where San Diego State could still make it as a bubble team. But I mean, we'll see come Selection Sunday next week. But it doesn't seem like the Mountain West is going to have more than just one bid, which is unfortunate for San Diego State in women's basketball. We'll have more on that during our weekly updates. USD, here's some interesting things about USD to kind of finish up the show, because the Toreros have put themselves in a position where it sounds like they have a new head coach. It's being reported that it's J.R. Blunt, who has been an assistant coach at Iowa State and has been really considered one of the great up-and-coming basketball coaches in college basketball. But when you look at what USD could potentially do over there, Mark Ziegler's laid it out a couple of times. According to the report he had over the weekend before this report that has come down that J.R. Blunt is the new head basketball coach at USD, in the article it says USD is preparing a $2 to $4 million NIL payroll pool for basketball players. Not $2 to $4 million for the basketball program. That is $2 to $4 million for NIL and payroll for the players specifically. And just for context and comparison, Aztec players receive about $2.7 million this season. So USD apparently has accumulated a war chest for men's basketball to try to compete in a new West Coast Conference, which, by the way, is not going to have Gonzaga. And they want to be competitive and near the top of the West Coast Conference. $2 to $4 million in NIL and the WCC, that's going to put you in a spot to win the West Coast Conference. And if they could get to a point where they're playing a lot better basketball, that's going to help out the other two colleges in town to an extent, because now you can start scheduling games in town that help with quad 1, quad 2, and make it easier. But not only do they not have to, not only are they not going to do with Gonzaga, but now like UCSD's joining that conference. And you're going to have two of those schools in town competing. But if you're UCSD now and you see that San Diego State's paying $2.7 million on a roster and USD is willing to pay $2 to $4 million on a roster, UCSD is going to have to start paying a lot of money on a roster. It's going to be interesting to see here in college basketball. So they could say what they want about how much money they got, but until they start spending it, either in recruiting or into the transfer portal, it's a lot of what they could say a lot, but they got to start doing it too. And I'm curious to see what happens over there in Linda Vista. Update on the Padre game. It's 2-0 Rangers. Second inning for Randy Vasquez. Ground out to Ezekiel Duran. Marcana then hit a single, stole second. Tyler Wade, former Padre, lined out. And Willie McIver was able to single to score Marcana. Willie McIver then stole second. Brandon Nimmo hit a triple. And Jock Peterson flew out. So it's a 2-0 lead for Texas. Randy Vasquez, though, responded in the third inning with a 1-2-3 inning, 2 strikeouts and a lineout. And now they're in the bottom of the third. So overall today, Randy Vasquez, 3 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. His ERA is now up to 2.35 in the spring, but love the bounce back out of Randy after giving up some runs there in the second inning. We're going to talk more Padres baseball tomorrow. We'll talk about how San Diego FC did over the weekend tomorrow as well. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Scraby due up to join us next, or join the station next as they start Gwynn and Chris. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant signing off on a Monday. Talk to you guys again tomorrow. San Diego's number one sports station, 97 through the Fan.